What a dramatic game of cricket we've been having, and let's hope it continues in that way for some time, because a lot of fans have got tickets probably only for tomorrow, and they'll be hoping that they're going to see some riveting action, and a lot of them no doubt wanting to come along and celebrate an English victory if it occurs. It's a target that Australia haven't chased down for some time in a test match. It's almost 6 years ago since Langer and Gilchrist knocked off 369 to win against Pakistan in Hobart. But the pitch was more of a road than this one, and with a little bit of variable bounce and this very determined England side, it's going to be a mighty effort to get these runs. Hayden's on a pair. It'll be Langer to face, following his first innings of 82. England all out 20 minutes before tea for 182. A whirlwind last wicket partnership there took them from 131 to that final total, with Flintoff finally trying to hit Warne for another big six, and he was out for 76, having hit 4 sixes, 2 each from Kasparovich and Lee. Jones faced 49 balls, was there for 42 minutes. Oh, the partnership there, yes. 49 balls, 42 minutes for the 51. Jones faced 23 balls. Thanks, Bill. And he blocked a few, but he did hit 3 fours. And Flintoff was 73. What did I give you? 76, I think. Yes, 73. And off 86 balls. So he's about a run a ball, 100% strike rate for the match, because he made 68 from 62 balls in the first innings.
9 sixes is hit in the match.
Phenomenal. First ball of the second Australian innings. Harmison runs in, and Langer tries to cut, chops it down into the turf in front of Strauss, who's there at 4th slip. So Australia want 282, England 10 wickets. Who's favourites, Mike Selby?
England have got to be favourite. Australia will be thinking positively, though. They'll say in their own minds, this is only a 3rd day pitch. It's not a 5th day pitch. You play each ball on its merit. There's a couple misbehaving, nothing very much. I suppose Geraint Jones probably got the only one that really misbehaved, didn't he?
Here's Harmison in, just wide of the off stump, across the left-hander who watches it go through a couple of slips, a gully, a point, a cover, a mid-off, a short leg, mid-wicket, no mid-on, and a long leg. So if you're just switching on, the news today was quite dramatic at the start. England lost 4 wickets very quickly. Trescothick caught Gilchrist, bowled Lee 21. Vaughan lost his off stump to Lee for 1. Night watchman Hoggard caught by Hayden in the gully off Lee for 1. In goes Harmison, and again Langer's leaving a ball that keeps a little low as it scoots through outside the off stump. So they were 4 for 31, and then 5 for 72 when Peterson, in a tangle on the sweep, was adjudged caught by Gilchrist off Warne for 20. He may have been a little unlucky there, but then perhaps he was lucky from the first ball he received, which must have been very close to nicking glove or bat down the leg side. A tough one for Billy Bowden to give. It was then 5 for 72. Harmison bowls, and Langer chases a ball that goes running away outside the off stump, and he misses it as it's taken by the keeper. And then Bell was caught by Gilchrist from the Warne leg break for 21. That was 6 for 75. Then a mini revival between Jones and Flintoff. Flintoff having torn a muscle in the upper part of his left arm, and he had an injection during the lunch break. And just after lunch, Jones got the snorter from Lee, just leapt off a length, and Ponting took the catch from the glove at 2nd slip. Jones made 9, and that was 7 for 101. Harmison goes into Langer. Langer pulls the short ball and misses. Maybe slower bounce. Got through his shot and hit him on the body and went away on the onside. And then Giles was also helping Flintoff. He added 30 until he was caught by Hayden at slip-off Warne, bowling around the wicket for 8. Harmison out. First ball caught by Ponting under the nose on the offside. And Warne didn't get the hat-trick. Jones survived it and made 12 not out, while Flintoff went a banging. 4 sixes, 6 fours. Some big hits. Harmison runs into Langer. Langer goes back and defends the ball out on the offside, and that is a maiden over from Harmison from the pavilion end this time, starting the innings. There were 10 extras in that total of 182, and Warne 6 for 46, 10 wickets for the match. Now 599 Test wickets, and lead the support act with 4 for 82.
Just feeling his way, Steve Harmison there. That wasn't particularly rhythmical over. I suppose the last ball really was the only one that hit the bat hard. Justin Langer avoided getting sconned or hitting the hands or hitting the arm at all. Yeah, so that's a major triumph for him. Michael Vaughan going with Matthew Hoggard, his usual tactic with the new ball. I think if he's going to take the new ball, England do need a performance from Matthew Hoggard, though. He's thus far in the series, he's been found a little bit wanting. The ball hasn't really swung for him. He did get that wicket in the first innings with his first ball. Hayden pummeling it straight to short extra cover. Same field here, short mid-off, short extra cover.
He's on a pair, a king pair. Hoggard bowls to him now, and it's wide down the leg side. He tried to help it on its way, but it was very wide as it went to the keeper there. So similar tactic, and Hayden has been struggling for his best form for some time now in Test cricket. I think most of you know the numbers that have been following it. It's now 25 innings since he made 100 in Test cricket, which is something of a surprise given his stellar form from 2001 through until 2004. But he's a little out of touch. Hoggard runs in and bowls to him, and he's forward, and it's coming from the boot. He wants a single as it scurries out towards Bell, who throws at the stumps, and there's a deflection, but Giles backs up, and they don't get the overthrow. The ball hit the stumps from side on as Bell was busy in the field. And England starting to zero in on the stumps. Vaughan hit the stumps in the first innings, and from side on, Bell's just hit the stumps.
As long as they do it when it matters, that's the thing. No pressure on there, is there?
No.
That was swinging, though. Both those deliveries from Hoggard did swing into the left-hander. So now what he's got to do is to adjust his line. Now that's a good move, putting Andy Flintoff on the clip, short mid wicket. He's now got it's a bit like a one-day field, isn't it, with those men in the circle.
Well, let's see if the tactic works on the other side. Hoggard bowls. Hayden tries to clip it away. It skids through a little bit, just outside the line of the leg stump. Hayden was trying to help it around the corner, but again it went away to Bell out there in front of square. So Flintoff at short mid wicket, a mid on, a mid off, and a short mid off as well as a cover, a backward point, and just one slip. Curious field indeed.
Well, he's going to shape it into him, that's for sure.
282, the mountain that Australia have to climb to win the game. Hoggard is on his way at Hayden forward, and he does clip it straight to Flintoff. So field placing vindicated with that clip off the pads, and Flintoff was there to pick up.
It's given him a few things to think about, hasn't it?
Yes, and he is, as you say, swinging the ball. He's got to be particularly watchful here. He likes to go at the ball, and we saw in the first innings a total miscue that spooned up a catch to cover. So Australia still haven't got off the mark here as Hoggard makes his way. He bowls now, and Hayden's forward, and he runs at the third man. There's no one there. He's away. A 4 off a controlled edge, perhaps. There's only one slip. He just opened the face of the bat as Hoggard just changed the line, and it didn't move. It bounced a little bit, but Hayden nudged it down to that vacant third man to get Australia's first runs.
It wasn't a bad line, actually, that he bowled there. I don't think he was trying to slant it across him, but Hayden just propping forward, angling the face. He knows there's only the one slip. Flintoff now going back into to fill that and moving the square leg round into that position on the clip, short mid wicket for the clip off his toes.
Flintoff at about third slip and a stride or two ahead of Trescothick on the line. As Hoggard moves in to Hayden. Hayden leaves a ball. It comes back a little, but from outside the line of the off stump, not enough to hit the off bail. 4 runs on the board for Australia, and another great day of entertainment. I just went around to chat to a few Australian fans down there, and one of the groups I saw was the Johners, all looking like Jonathan Agnew round the back. All with actually, he's got a little bit more hair than most of them. But there's a mob out there that they were lookalikes. Are they regulars here?
The first I've heard of it. No.
Yeah. Well,
Agnew lookalikes, that's a horrible thought.
oh, there's a team of them down there. There's some very impressive performances. I met the Pope while I was down there.
Yeah, there's a few of those, weren't there?
Yeah,
Yep.
well, right. There's a few pretenders here as well.
Oh, plenty of Popes in there today.
Yes, well, it's Harmison just waiting for someone to sit down. There's a bit of movement around the screen down here. Sit down! Harmison's looking around. He's given them a glare, and now he's ready to roll. Away from this pavilion end, he comes up and bowls to Langer, and Langer gets the tight ball near the line of the stumps, sends him back, sends him defending, away to Bell, who's in at short leg. So, how many overs left in the day, Bill, after all the excitement?
There were 44 at the start, so 42 including this.
42 in 2 3/4 hours of cricket. So we might get most of those out of the way, particularly if Gilo gets into the action. Now Harmison moves towards Langer. Langer goes back and gets behind a full-length delivery. Well bowled by Harmison, who was peppering Langer in the first innings. Hit him on the helmet, hit him in the midriff, whacked him on the gloves. He's just getting a little bit fuller here and hoping to slant across the batsman or perhaps get into his pads early on.
I don't think he's quite got it out of second or third gear at the moment, though, has he? He's a bit lengthened line at the moment.
Just putting them there. He runs in now. He bowls to Langer, and Langer is taking the ball away to the onside, knocking it around the corner. He hustles through for a single as Hoggard comes in, and they're content with that. So Langer's away. Hayden made his first runs in the opening over, steering the ball away to third man. So Australia 5. None for 5. 282 the target, with England bowled out for 182. Another magnificent effort from Shane Warne. He bowled unchanged today. 22.1 overs, 7 maidens, and 23.1 in the end. 6 for 46. So 5 more wickets today to move up to 599. He's taken 10 for 162 in the match. Harmison bowls to Hayden. Hayden gets a short ball and pulls it down and around towards long leg for a single to Hoggard. But this is such a key time in the game. I mean, Australia's momentum yesterday, I think, was totally derailed by the early dismissal of Hayden. And I'll be just hoping that these two can get a little bit of a start, because it just gives a surge of confidence to the rest of the batting if they do. And it's well known that with their record, they can seriously dent big totals. 4 double-century partnerships to their name. Langer goes forward, hits the ball hard in front of Bell at short leg. It was a good clip. Looked like it went to him on the bounce. It certainly went quickly as he tried to flick it through the onside, and it's probably one of those instinctive snares in close that England need here to get the start. In fact, it hit Bell on the knee. It actually came more from the upper part, the splice of the bat, than the middle. So there is a little bit of variable bounce on occasions. Harmison bowls to Langer. Langer gets the short ball and swats it around the corner, and it goes for 4. A good stroke from the gutsy little West Australian, pulling the ball around the corner. He would have enjoyed that, because he's worn plenty from Harmison so far in the series, and he's just hit him for a 4. 10 up on the board, 5 each to Langer and Hayden.
You can't blame Steve Harmison for trying to rough him up a little bit now, but I rather hope he doesn't go overboard with the short stuff, because by and large in this match the balls that have been banged into the middle of the pitch have come off very sluggishly. It's been the length balls, the good length balls. In his case, was slightly shorter than normal, but those are the deliveries that are troubling the batsmen. It's going to be, I mean, I don't think England are going to go out and blast Australia out. They're going to have to work hard for these wickets. They're going to have to plug away.
Yes, and this in fact may be a good time to score if they get themselves in. Hoggard bowls to Hayden wide down the leg side. He's losing the line there. I mean, the greater threat from the pace bowlers in this game, so often in Test cricket, is when the ball's 30 or 40 overs old and it starts reversing.
Yeah.
It's more dangerous then than when it's new.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that so often in the past, haven't we? From Wasim and Waqar, and it's absolutely right. It's 30, 40 overs, isn't it? You wouldn't think the ball would rough up so quickly on this outfield either, would you? It's very lush, but it seems to have done.
Hoggard moving in at Hayden. Hayden comes forward and he does clip it firmly wide of mid-on. Vaughan across to his left to stop it, and Hayden to 6, and the score to 11. Is it a particularly abrasive surface that they're bowling
Well, there was
on?
no grass on it really. It did, from this angle, it first day it appeared to have a greenish tinge, but actually, that's because we're pretty low down here, and if you actually got out to the pitch, it's pretty bare, and of course any live grass on that will now have gone. So it probably is quite an abrasive pitch.
Langer's walking a long way down the pitch. I tell you, if Hoggard bowls one where he's just walked, it'll bounce 3 times before it gets to him. He's almost got to the non-striker's end. Might be just a little bit of nervousness there, just settling himself in. He often goes wandering about, and now Vaughan's decided as Langers are wandering that he's going to move Strauss to backward square. Good luck, Bill. He's got the fly swatter out. What's your strike rate? 100%? And you're timing your run. I'm watching you very carefully.
It's the first time I've used this swatter this year. It's got a new blade on it.
It'd be very useful in Australia. Hoggard bowls, and Langer drives through the covers for 4. Oh, here's a man in form. Hoggard pitched up looking for the swing. Didn't really get it, and it was beautifully driven through the covers by Justin Langer, who's now 9, and Australia none for 15.
He was on that pretty quick, wasn't he?
Left on it.
You see, the difficulty here for Matthew Hoggard is that he's been firing them down the leg side. It's been swinging down the leg side. So of course he has to adjust his line, but in adjusting his line, the swing wasn't there, and.
Yes, and unless he's moving it late, as he did when he knocked Hayden over at Lord's, he's not quick enough at times to really disturb. Let's see what he does. He bowls now to Langer. Langer comes forward, edges just wide of a diving Flintoff, all along the ground and down to the boundary for another 4. 19 runs flying. New ball, and not a lot of pace in the pitch, and there we've seen a couple of edges now go straight into the turf through the slip cordon for 4.
Yeah, that's 8 of the 19 gone down to third man now. So not the best of starts for Matthew Hoggard.
Well, you had a feeling about the new ball that Flintoff probably would have been a better bet. Well, it may not be long before he's on unless Hoggard can get one in the right zone. Here he comes now at Langer. Langer forward, plays it well, waited for the ball, was right over it, and sent it square of the wicket on the offside. 282's the big number, or 10 wickets for England, and Australia have made 19 of those, keeping everyone on tenterhooks here today. Another dramatic, wonderful day of Test cricket. England started at 1 for 25 and were all out for 182, which was a pretty good effort from 4 for 31 and 6 for 75. Flintoff made 73. Hoggard bowls to Langer. Langer gets one that skids, and he just keeps it out of his pads and sends it around the corner to backward square. Well, that was sliding through on him. There would have been a big shout, even though it may have been leg stumpish, but he picked up a run. None for 20. Langer 14 and Hayden 6 at the end of Hoggard's over.
10.
He's bowled a couple of overs for 14 runs.
I reckon Matthew Hayden might have had a bit of trouble with that taller fellow. Well, that scuttled right through very low. On the line of the stumps, I suspect, and Langer able to jab down on it and get the run. It's a positive start for Australia, which is what they would need. They'll be sure in their minds that this target is very gettable. Don't dwell too much on history in this game and those sort of things. Henry Ford, history's bunk.
Yes, well, as Australia have responded to a lot of challenges in this wonderful period of their success, and this is a serious challenge. Harmison bowls to Langer. Langer tries to turn it, hits the pad. Hayden says no. You don't need the leg by. Now, you know we have the champagne moment during this match. Damien Martin won the champagne moment at Lord's with his spectacular catch at deep mid-wicket. And there's a few entries in this champagne moment for the game. A couple of those big sixes, probably Warren's big leg break that bowled Strauss. Anyway, and we had a bit of a party last night. And if you'd like to see everyone carousing in a very quiet and respectable way, I'll show you where to go. Harmison bowls. Forward goes Langer, pushes out behind point. Yes, if you want to get onto the ABC website, www.abc.net.au/cricket, go into the photo gallery and you'll see a group of very well-behaved TMS commentators and their wives, their partners there at a splendid event that was held last night. And we've all done extremely well to recover to come down here today. It was a good party.
You've done me like a dinner. I said I got to bed early with the ball.
Oh, sorry, Selves. Harmison bowls just outside the off stump. It's allowed to pass as he shouldered arms to that. Well, you probably did. You just leave the early out.
Well, it was early, wasn't it?
Yeah, but probably, yes. Well, that's right. It was early in the end. Anyway, it's a very good night, and there's a good snap in there. Plus a few of some of the guests we've been having in the box. Martin Johnson was talking to Jonathan Agnew the other day, and I'll get up the shot of Nigel Havers, who was with Blowers during the lunch break. Away goes Flintoff. No, says Langer. No, not ready. Go back, start all over again. Some distraction down there. There's a little bit of movement just behind the bowler's arm, somewhere in the deep. So what book were you reading? Come on. Have to think about that one. Right. Can't remember the title.
Shaky, the biography of Neil Young.
All right, as Harmison bowls across Langer, and it goes through to the keeper. So you have a great love of music, don't you?
Yeah, I like music. Had a very special time of your youth, didn't I? When he was over, your little lad.
Yeah, he had it going all the time. Coldplay in particular, but other stuff too.
Oh, Green Day. He was very fond of Green Day.
Green Day, was it?
American sort of retro punk band, which was great fun. I thought Green Day.
Yeah, I remember you having a lovely little discussion with him about it. Harmison bowls just wide of the off stump again, and Langer is watching it go through. So Harmison's not quite getting the line here outside the off stump. So again he goes a prodding at the pitch. Australia have made 20. 282 required, and Langer just going about his business, applying himself, trying to get another rich return here by picking the right ball to play. Harmison bowls to him, and he gets another ball that he doesn't have to play at. It's wide outside the off stump as it bounces through to the keeper. And at the end of the over, Langer's 14 and Hayden 6. The total is 20, and Harmison's bowled 3 overs, 2 maidens, none for 6. So not much happening so far for England.
More rhythmical though from Steve Harmison there. The ball gets some good carry through to Geraint Jones. I thought it was a rather insipid opening over that he had, but hitting the crease a bit harder there. When he really gets going, Steve Harmison, he gets a genuine surge into the crease. A bit like Kirtley, when Kirtley got a surge when he really, really meant it, and Steve Harmison's very similar. Is it change of bowling?
No,
it's still Hoggy, isn't it?
Just having a chat to Hoggart about the field, I think, for Hayden. Maybe just getting to the point where that initial tactic, short mid-off, short cover, needs some variation. And he's leaving the field as it is for the moment.
He's got to get the line right, and that's the crucial thing for him.
And maybe get a bit of variable bounce. Let's see. Hoggart bowls now. Hayden comes forward. He miscues, looking to drive there. One of those falling forward shots of Hayden's, but he didn't get onto it outside the line of the off stump. He does plant his front foot a bit these days, and sometimes if the ball moves, he gets himself into a tangle.
He's always been a dragger of the ball, though, hasn't he, Matthew Hayden? Drags the ball from wide of off stump straight. Like Graham Smith's another one who does, the South African captain.
Hoggard bowls to him, and he's getting behind the ball, which was pitched near the line of the stumps, middle and leg, thereabouts, and he just forced it to Michael Vaughan at mid-on. Now, there may be quite a few who haven't heard, or even if they have heard, Michael Vaughan was bowled again today. Was it just a case of playing down the wrong line? Was he done by pace? What's going wrong with Vaughan? He's getting bowled a lot.
Yeah, he's getting bowled more than a top-flight player ought to get bowled. There ought to be something else behind that, didn't there? You know, the pad should be in the way there somewhere along the line. You get bowled occasionally, but not as regularly as he does.
Hoggard bowls, and he's driving and missing outside the off stump. He went at that. It was a loose stroke, and the ball went past the edge of the bat. Excitement for those in the slips and the crowd thinking, whoops, here it comes, first wicket, but he missed it.
I think he got a quickish ball again from Brett Lee today that actually came in at him a bit off the seam, and because when it does that, there would be a natural tendency to compensate and to come across the ball, and you end up playing with just half the bat. And he might have been a wee bit late on it as well, because it was a pretty sharp delivery.
It was a very good early spell from Lee as Hoggard bowls and Hayden leaves a ball that's full and wide outside the off stump. Lee took 3 for 4 in 11 balls when everyone was thinking Warne was going to strike, but Warne eventually winkled through them in his lengthy spell of bowling. 6 for 46, Lee 4 for 82. Took some tap from Flintoff, who hit some thrilling sixes. One fielded by former England captain Graham Gooch on the gantry above us. It was a massive blow over long on. So Hayden waiting for Hoggard, who moves towards him, bowls now, and he's forward and he's clipping it wide of mid-on. That's running pretty quickly. Vaughan's chasing. Can he get to it just in the nick of time? He slides alongside the ball as they take just 2 on an on-drive. Hayden moves along to 8, is it? Yeah, 6. 8. Now it's ticking over. Thanks, Bill. None for 22. So what's Vaughan need to do? Because it's just becoming a problem, really, for him and the team.
I mean, I think he's not... He can't be playing straight enough, can he, to... You know, if he keeps coming... The one in the second innings at Lords from Brett Lee also, that to me was a perfectly straight ball that he missed, that he came across the line of the ball. You wanted to see him play it straight, to play it back to the bowler.
The chant goes up again as Hoggard bowls to Hayden. Hayden leaves the ball alone outside the off stump, and that's the end of the over. It's 22 without loss, and with the crowd having a big day out, and the rest of us too enjoying the action. Mike Selvey and then Henry Blofeld.
The other thing that's happened to him is twice of the 3 occasions in which he has been bowled recently, his feet have actually been off the deck when it's hit the stump. So he's anticipating, or he thinks he's anticipating the ball coming through higher than it is, and on each occasion it hasn't actually kept low. It might be low relative to where he is, but as he's 12, 15 inches off the deck as it's going through, it will seem low. But they've clipped the top of the off stump. They've been real genuine bail trimmers.
Well, it's going to be Harmison now to bowl the 7th over of the innings, and he's going to bowl to start with to Langer, Justin Langer, who has 14. 2 slips and a rather fine gully. They're the close fielders. Otherwise on the offside, backward point cover mid-off. And here's Harmison racing up to the wicket now. He bowls to Langer. Langer's forward driving. He doesn't really time that. It goes straight to Giles, who's square with the wicket at cover. That's where he picks it up. He started at backward point. There's a ball, a white ball with black spots on it being knocked around, a beach ball in the Eric Hollis stand over there, where all sorts of jollification is going along. And Australia are off to a good start, quite an impressive start, one which will have done, I think, their morale a little bit of good in the dressing room already. 22 for no wicket, and here's Harmison in, bowls now to Langer outside the off stump. Langer plays no stroke, and through it goes there to Geraint Jones, the wicketkeeper. And you can probably hear the chanting in the background. A lot of Australian supporters here in their yellow hats. And a great group of them at the far end of the ground, sitting in the RAS Wyatt stand. Another group of them in the Eric Hollis stand, away to our right. Some more just under the scoreboard, the other across the ground, again to our right. as Harmison is in. He's there now. He goes Langer short. Langer tries to pull it round the corner. It's hit on the body, and the ball just bounces a yard or two out on the leg side. And Bell it is who comes in and fields. So no run there. Well, what a day it's been. Flintoff was quite extraordinary. And that 6 that disappeared high, I seemed to be going out of the ground. In fact, it crashed into the scaffolding on the top of the pavilion. It really was a mammoth blow. As Harmison is in again, he's up to the wicket now, he bowls, and Langer goes back, turns that off his pads down to Hoggard at fine leg, and they saunter a single. So 23 now for no wicket, 15 to Justin Langer. And if Australia are to get these runs, Langer has a big part to play. He's the sort of obdurate batsman. If he can get another 80, 90 runs, it could be the sort of basis around which Australia can build.
He played impeccably in the first innings. An innings that was totally out of sync with everything that was gone on in the match.
Absolutely. Here's Harmison then in, bowls now to Hayden, it's short, and Hayden looked as though he was going, it was a shortish outside the off stump. He looked initially at the way he picked the bat up as though he was going to hit that, but then, or cut it or whatever, but he didn't. He left his bat above his head like a periscope, and the ball went through to Jones. Hayden comes down the pitch and does a bit of prodding, and there's been a lot of prodding going on all through this match, and it'll be interesting to see at the end of the day today exactly how marked this pitch is. Harmison starts in again. This run of his, furious run up the wicket, bowls to Hayden. Hayden tries to pull out from outside the off stump, misses. Through it goes to Jones. That's not a very good stroke. He could well have got himself into trouble there. It was not short enough to pull. At the end of that over, 23 for no wicket, 8 to Hayden and 15 to Langer.
Well, that wasn't a million miles away from his sticks, was it, that one?
No.
Didn't bounce very high. It was probably outside off stump. But went through not very much higher than bail height. So a risky shot from Matt Hayden, who's really been in no kind of nick at all.
And we've got Ashley Giles coming into the attack.
Well, already Michael Vaughan looking for a little bit of control, I think, and he's got 2 left-handers in. That rough outside off stump will come into play. It's quite significant for England that Giles will have the opportunity to bowl at 4 left-handers in their top 7. Each of whom will have to cope with that rough, and they did have trouble against him in the first innings. Michael Vaughan very correctly gives him cover on the leg side. He's got this man out at deep mid wicket which covers the slog sweep, which is going to be a real counter attack to Giles pitching it out there. Otherwise they're going to have trouble hitting him out of the rough anywhere else than out there. So he gives them that protection, and that allows him the licence to have the men in round the bat as well.
Well, we've got on the boundary, we got the deep mid wicket, we got a deep backward square leg, and also a deep cover. Jones is over there to our left, also on the boundary. We got 2 men round the bat, a slip and a forward short leg. Otherwise, an extra cover and deepish mid off on the offside. On the leg side, a forward square leg at Strauss, just a bit in front of square, and we've got also a wideish mid on. Giles now is going to bowl to Justin Langer, and here comes his first ball. He's up to the wicket now, bowling over the wicket, bowls, and that's played away by Langer just past the diving Bell there at short leg. It was wide of Bell. I think he took some of the pace off it, and it was...
was that in the air, was it?
Well, I just honestly don't know. Was it...
Well, maybe just off the boot.
Yes, I suppose technically it was just a chance.
Did he get some bat on it? I don't know whether he actually got any bat on it, whether it was just off the boot. Oh, I think you did, yeah.
I think he may have got some bat on that. Yes, it was just a chance. And here's Giles again, bowls, and Langer opens up and drives. It goes out there to Jones deep at cover, and they take a single. So 16 to Langer, and 24 for no wicket is now the Australian score. And the target, we must keep reminding you, 282 is the total they require to win. And if they get it, it'll be the highest total in the 4th innings to win. At Edgbaston, and I think the highest in any case in the 4th innings.
Yes, the highest by any side, and they lost, was 277.
Right, yes. And the highest to win, 211 when England beat New Zealand. Yes, thank you very much, Bill. And Giles bowling in the film star like dark glasses with the sort of white rims. It's rather a remarkable sight, actually. Comes in up to the wicket now. Bowls to Hayden. Hayden is forward, playing this way to the left there of mid-on. They go for the single. Flintoff fields and returns to Jones. Hayden 9, and it's 25 for no wicket.
But you could say that 211 is slightly meaningless, isn't it, Henry? Because, you know, they only lost 3 wickets. The Night Watchman got 99, and they probably could have chased 500. So, you know, it tells you what.
It doesn't tell you very much, no. Giles it is. In, up to the wicket, trundling round. This is outside the off stump. Driven there by Langer, just behind square. Jones from the boundary, fields, and another single to Langer. He goes to 17. It's 26 now for no wicket. And I think Giles, like Warne before him today, is going to have a long bowl today and tomorrow. Goes back to his mark now, turns, stops for a moment because Hayden's not quite ready. He's looking in minute detail at the field. We've got Vaughan in at a short mid-wicket. As Giles is in, bowls, and Hayden comes forward, hit on the pad. Giles' right arm goes up. It's fielded by Trescothick at slip. But that was not an appeal, it was just a little bit of excitement by Giles. Hayden twiddles his bat, stretches now with his arms above his head, adjusts his pads. Both batsmen, Australians, wearing sleeveless sweaters. And here is Giles again. A tall man in, now bowls. Hayden's down the wicket and drives it straight back over Giles' head for 4. And that was a splendid stroke, and just the sort of shot one expects from Hayden, and also, of course, from Gilchrist. And the sort of stroke Gilchrist would play all too willingly and easily. It's 12 now, 13 to Hayden, and Australia 30 for no wicket at the end of 8 overs.
Good positive response from Matthew Hayden. That much in the same way as England set out to disrupt Shane Warne in the first innings, down the pitch and whacking him straight over his head. They don't want to disrupt Ashley Giles. They know that he is one of the keys to any England success here. He's going to have to keep control from one end. He's got all that rough to bowl into. The seamers can bash away at the other end then. If they can knock him out of the attack, then Michael Vaughan has to use his seamers all the way through, and he can't bowl Harmison and Flintoff all the time. Hogarth's hardly bowled in the match.
Yes, if Hayden does get after Giles, he will indeed have Vaughan scratching his head.
Flintoff, of course, has this shoulder strain tear, whatever it is. So,
and it's Harmison now galloping in. He's up to the wicket. He bowls to Langer. Langer hurriedly defends there on the off stump. Peterson comes racing in from the covers and ends up almost beside the stumps in having picked the ball up. And he's a most splendid cricketer, Peterson. He's always in it. He's a great competitor, and didn't he? Those 2 sixes he hit off Warne today were astonishing strokes when England were 31 for 4. It really took a strong mind to do that. Harmison again in, up to the wicket. He bowls. Oh, when Langer goes back, that looked as if it kept just a little low. He dug it out. Harmison stopped the ball, and Peterson from the covers comes in and completes the fielding.
Yeah, you're right about Peterson. We're always looking for key moments, aren't we? But that broke the stranglehold. That got England moving again. It looked at that time they were just going to stagnate. They weren't going to be able to go anywhere. Shane Warne was tying them in knots. Brett Lee was ripping them out. He just got things moving again.
He did indeed. Here comes Harmison now, up to the wicket, bowls to Langer. Langer's forward, and just stops it, and he, in fact, actually then pats it away towards Peterson, who's coming steaming in from the covers. And Peterson and Strauss between them collect the ball, and Harmison walks briskly back to his mark. No, we had a most entertaining day. It was lovely to see Nigel Havers here, wasn't it?
That was great fun here, Henry.
I know, tremendous. He's driving home. He said he'd be listening to us. I hope he's keeping both hands on the wheel and that sort of thing. And but it was lovely to have him here. It really was. And here comes Harmison again, up to the wicket, bowls to Langer. Oh, and a short one. Wide is called there by. I can't understand how that could have been a wide, but it wasn't. It wasn't a very fast bouncer, right? Surely it wasn't. It was
I'm not quite sure why.
Strange decision by Billy Bowden, who may have thought he was standing in a one-day match. and it went over shoulder height. But anyway, it certainly was not a wide, although that's what it was given as. 31 for no wicket for the score. Harmison looks over his shoulder and starts in again. Coming in up to the wicket now, he's there, he bowls to Langer. Langer goes back, plays his way on the gently away to the left of Jones at mid-on, and they amble a single. So 32 for no wicket, 18 to Langer. And Hayden now goes down the other end, scratches away in the crease with his boot, making sure of his guard. 2 slips to gully, backward point, cover mid-off, mid-on, square leg, and a fine leg. That is the field. And this fascinating game of cricket goes on. Australia will be feeling a little bit better now than they were after that last wicket partnership. And Harmison bowls, and that's tickled round the corner by Hayden, straight down to Hoggard at fine leg. And they run through for another single. 33 the score, 33 for no wicket, and 14 now to Matthew Hayden, indeed. And Vaughan has the ball there at mid-off, throws it back to Harmison, who's going to bowl to Langer now, the more diminutive of the two left-handers. The crowd absolutely packed here, everyone sitting on the edge of their seats. And here's Harmison in now, bowls to Langer. Langer goes back, plays this away just behind square on the leg side. He thought initially there might be a run, but Bell was there. And so he, having taken a couple of strides down the wicket, he had to go back into his crease. It's the end of the over, 33 for no wicket, 14 to Hayden, 18 to Langer, and in the far distance there's a rather gentle, benign helicopter.
Langer playing very solidly. I mean, he looks a fellow in form, Justin Langer. He plays so well. The line of his body, he's just playing it away, milking it on the leg side. That's his bread and butter down on the leg side. Steve Harmison going into his body a little bit, not going across him. So it's rather playing into his hands, that one.
Well, the helicopter's changed direction and is now going back from the way which it came. So maybe it's an observatory helicopter. He's too far away to see much of the cricket anyway. Here is Giles now starting a new over the wicket, in, bowls, and Hayden drives there, and is going to he won't go for 4. It's picked up in fact by Jones at deep cover, and the throw comes humdinging into the gloves there of Jones, T'other Jones the keeper, and the score goes on to 35 for no wicket, and Hayden now has 16. Giles went for 7 in his first over, already gone for 2 in his second. Hayden prods at the wicket, batsmen all the time prodding and sweeping the pitch. They're very suspicious of it. And indeed, Langer had one from Hoggard that was really almost was a creeper. And Giles in, bowls, Hayden reaches forward, and just the ball trickles out about 5 or 6 yards on the offside. Geraint Jones goes after it and picks it up, gives it to Trescothick, who throws it back to Giles. Umpire Kurtzin walking away from the stumps at the far end. Now he returns, takes up his position. Hayden stretches his muscles, putting both hands above his head, now settles into his stance. Giles in, bowls, and he's down the pitch, and he drives him to the ground. Spectator catch. Giles takes it, and some of the crowd think it's on the full. In fact, he hit it into the ground. It was a bump ball. And Giles goes back to his mark. Throws himself a catch from hand to hand, tweaks the shirt on his left shoulder. In he comes, bowls again, and this one time Hayden tickles it somewhat uncertainly round the corner. They go for 1, and they come back for the second. And as it is fielded down here by Harmison at fine leg just underneath us. So 18 all, I think, is... the scoreboard's only got 17 to Hayden. It's 36 for no wicket, so we haven't had any extras yet. I don't know why the scoreboard over there is...
Had a wide, didn't we?
So we had a wide, did we? No.
Remember the bouncer?
Oh, the bouncer, yes, we did.
Yeah,
quite
the
right.
total's 37.
37 for no wicket, yes, that's right. Maybe it's been another power failure, I hope. Giles having a conversation with Vaughan. Vaughan now going back to take up his position at a shortish mid-wicket. And Giles comes in again, this slightly waddling run up to the wicket, bowls. Hayden's down the wicket, pushing out on the offside. Giles goes across, and And on the television screen in front of us, it says the correct score, which is 37 for no wicket.
Television got the overs wrong. They took 2 off between the innings, which they shouldn't have done because it was a T-interval.
Oh, and here comes Giles. In again to Hayden. Hayden's forward, and that one, he's in a bit of trouble there. He hit his pad, it just bounced down in front of him, and Jones quickly grabbed the ball. And Giles just exerting a little bit of more control in that over, introducing just a little bit of doubt into the batting. 2 overs, no maidens, none for 11. And the scoreboard's got it right, 37 for no wicket, 18 each to Langer and Hayden.
Yeah, Ashley Giles is feeling his way into this spell, trying to get the right pace for the pitch, and that's the key for him, is to know whether to bowl a little bit slower, a little bit quicker, to get the line right. Where's the rough? Am I hitting the rough? What pace do I need to bowl at in order to get the right length into that rough? That was a much better over, and played very cautiously by Matthew Hayden.
2 ladies sitting below us on the committee balcony with their binoculars there, looking very keenly at the cricket. And what they see is Harmison running in now to bowl to Langer. He's up to the wicket now, he bowls, Langer comes forward, plays it away on the leg side, straight to Bell, just backward of square leg, and there is no run. You feel that there's a tremendous tension out there, both sides striving in a breakthrough. Australia wanting to get away from these bowlers, or rather to get the bowlers away, and the England bowlers desperately looking for the breakthrough that would put them on a path to victory. Harmison has now decided to go round the wicket to bowl to Langer. He's having a conversation there with his captain, Michael Vaughan. Harmison, a tall man, just touches both his shoulders, pulls his shirt up. He's bowling in a short-sleeve shirt, and bends over, rubs the ball vigorously on the taut trousers of his right behind, and here he comes, walks 3 or 4 strides, breaks into a trot. Now it's a bit more of a gallop. He's up to the wicket, bowls to Langer. Langer's forward, driving, and that's runs here. It's a chase for Peterson. Peterson will stop this one about 5 yards from the boundary, and they go for 2 runs. It's a good stroke from Langer. He's 20 now. It's 39 for no wicket, and Australia going along at the moment quite comfortably.
I don't think we see Steve Harmison bowl round the wicket very often, do we? Andy Flintoff goes round the wicket regularly. He's a brilliant bowler at left-handers from round the wicket, but I don't remember Steve Harmison bowling round the wicket very often.
No, it doesn't. I don't remember him either, quite honestly. And sometimes bowlers do find it rather disconcerting, to get the right line. Here he is again, round the wicket, bowls. Langer's forward, pushing out on the offside. Peterson oversteps the ball, letting it run through to Michael Vaughan at mid-off, and there is no run. I'll finish the over. Agger's sitting there, waiting to grab the microphone in a moment. So, how many more balls we got this over, Bill? 3 more balls to go, right? And again Harmison touches his right shoulder with his left hand, and in he comes up to the wicket to bowl there to Langer. He's in, he bowls, Langer comes forward, playing into the offside. Oh, and Peterson goes galloping across field beautifully in his left hand, and returns the ball there to Geraint Jones at the far end, who in turn passes it to Trescothick, and in a moment it will find its way back to the bowler. And the stewards lending a great splash of colour. I'm glad we've discovered the pecking order in the stewards here. The ones in the red jackets are the bosses, aren't they? And the other 2 lots are underneath them. Here comes Harmison in, bowls to Langer. Langer's on the front foot, just pushing about 3 or 4 yards out into the covers. And Peterson comes in and picks up, and there is no run there.
The orange and green are imported from London, and they are really security people. The yellow ones are the locals who are doing normal stewarding.
Oh, well, I've got quite a lot of people actually now imported here from London on the gate when we go through and have our...
They were the same ones who were at Lord's.
Indeed. And here comes Harmison in now, bowls to Langer. Langer comes forward, slides this off the face of the bat, down there to third man. And Strauss is there, and they take just the single. So 40's on the board. 40 for no wicket, Australia. 21 to Langer, 18 to Hayden, and after another word from Mike Selvey, it will be Jonathan Agnew.
Yeah, he's bowling well, Steve Harmison, at the moment. He's bowling the right length. He's decided it's not worth the effort of banging in bounces willy-nilly. Every time he's banged it, it's come very sluggishly. The batsmen haven't put the ball away because they've actually been ahead of their shots when the ball's reached them. But that length just nag away. England are not going to suddenly blast away through Australia. They're going to have to be very patient. They're going to have to work very hard for their wickets here.
Absolutely right. It's cat and mouse out there, isn't it? 40 for no wicket. And Giles wheels round. He's ready to bowl to Langer. Langer's not ready to receive it, though. Scratching around. Now Giles comes in, he's there, he bowls, and Langer's forward, running out towards third man. They don't take the run, though. Trescothick goes bounding after it. The target, 282. And, of course, with all the time in the world to get them, it's a question of whether England can bowl Australia out before they get that number of runs. 40 for no wicket. Langer's on 21. Hayden is on 18. And Giles, wearing his sunglasses, comes in again and bowls to Langer, who's down the pitch driving for 4. It's a good stroke. He came dancing down the pitch, even though Giles is pitching that ball in the rough, and he drove it straight between the bowler and Hoggard at mid-off and down to the boundary for 4. 44 for no wicket. And Langer, who looks in good touch, goes to 25. And Australian flags are flying down there at the far end, one big one in particular. And Giles again comes in, and Langer's down the pitch once more. It's more of a slog, but it's going to get 4, I think, out towards a deep straight mid-wicket, and there's a very good save out there by Peterson, actually, that keeps them down to 2. But he didn't get to the pitch at that one, and it was all rather frantic at the end, and he slogged the ball out to deep mid-wicket. Really, I think he was aiming for a straight hit to start with, but he didn't quite get to the pitch of the ball, ended up dragging it round into the leg side.
Not going to let him settle, though, are they?
No.
Tension's very clear.
46 for no wicket. Langer to 27. Giles again bowls to him. That's a little shorter. Hurries Langer a bit, and he opens the face of the bat and runs the ball away to where a gully fieldsman might be. He's not there at the moment. Trescothick, though, feels it slip. And this time there's no run. The target, 282. Australia 46 without loss. Giles bundles in again and rolls to Langer. He's driving. Hoggard there, quite deep at mid-off, but he's able to stop the single. He was rather expensive early on, 3 overs for 16. Hasn't looked the bowler this summer that he was last winter, for my money anyway. I know he got wickets against Bangladesh up at Durham, but even then he admitted he didn't bowl very well.
Hoggard? No, he hasn't, has he? He's under pressure now from Chris Tremlett too.
Giles pushes that through, and Langer will pick up 1 here, guiding the ball away into that big gap in the offside. Again, it's Trescothick who's being kept busy there, who runs after the ball and fields. And England want a wicket. 47 for no wicket. That target of 282 is still some way away, but they need to be chipping away here, really, if they possibly can. Langer's on 28. Hayden on 18, so it's a good, solid start from Australia. Just what they wanted, but we have a bowling change to report. And this will be interesting because Andrew Flintoff has this injured shoulder. It was a muscle strain in which he had an injection earlier on today, as revealed by our roving reporter Nigel Havers. And we're going to see if he's fit to bowl. Bill?
Well, he's on a hat-trick.
So he is, well remembered.
I wonder if he's remembered. It's something you forget, actually, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, there have been a few.
They give him a good old umbrella field just for the first ball.
Yeah. There's been a few hat-tricks in Test cricket, haven't there? Overturned. Didn't Merv get one? Like that. Courtney Walsh, I think, might have got one similarly.
Well, let's see if Flintoff joins that band. He took the last 2 wickets of Australia's first innings. It does mean that the hat-trick would stand. If he got a wicket with his first ball here, that does count. Because it doesn't count if there's different matches. But different innings, it certainly does. So he's going to bowl round the wicket. Langer's on 28. He's going to receive. There are 2 slips, and the field itself suggests that maybe he doesn't realise he's on a hat-trick. But we'll see when he bowls this ball what the reaction is. His caption's up on the telly there. Andrew Flintoff on a hat-trick. It isn't on the big screen. And I wonder how many people here in the ground are aware that Andrew Flintoff is on a hat-trick. Can he get it, I wonder? 47 for no wicket. In goes Flintoff, he's there, he bowls to Langer, who comes forward. No hat-trick for Freddie today, or at least there. At that point, he might get one later. But not this time, as that's fielded by Giles there at backward point. No spontaneous applause from his teammates. That's usually a sign of at the end of a failed bid.
Someone said at the end, "You were on a fat trick there." Oh God, I'd have run in. He was right in the money there, though, wasn't he? Actually, first ball, round the wicket as ever, but as he frequently is.
He's on his way, he's there, he bowls to Langer. Oh, he's forward. Has he bowled him? Has he? He has bowled him. It's got through bat and pad. 3 and 4 balls for Andrew Flintoff. And he's broken through, injured shoulder or not. He has bowled Justin Langer. His off stump is leaning back. It's somehow crept through the gate. And England wanted a wicket. They've got one. It's 47 for 1 as Australia chase 282. Langer is out for 28. And looking at the replay, what did it come off? It came off his elbow and down into his stumps. They all count.
They do. He's an amazing cricketer, isn't he, Andrew Flintoff? I remain of the opinion that he should have opened the bowling, Andrew Flintoff. They should have taken the view that here's a fellow who was on so much of a high, on such a roll, that anything was possible.
I completely agree with you. It's his day today, it seems, isn't it? It certainly was with the bat. And if you're the sort of character that he is, or Ian Botham was when he was playing, you give them their head, I think, don't you?
Well, it's so resonant of those performances in 1981. One doesn't want to hark back to that kind of thing, but we had a partnership out there that was again, it was like Dillian Botham, wasn't it? A left-handed pace bowler and a fellow at the other end whacking it. Let's have a bit of fun. Jones joining in, and they've come off the field. In fact, the tea interval might have served to just calm it down a little bit. But if they'd just been that 10 minutes, you get him out there, you wouldn't have got the ball out of his hand. He'd have grabbed it. Beefy would have grabbed the ball, wouldn't he?
Oh,
he would have said, who do you think's going to bowl in it other than me?
Well, encouragingly, Flintoff's shoulder looks to be all right. At least there's no pain there.
Well, if it's not, we'll stick with it, I think.
Yes. But it doesn't seem to be hanging limply. It certainly didn't affect any pace there. And the crowd are going to be behind him now. Ricky Ponting's come out to bat. He played very well in the first innings before he rather gave it away. He's kicking away there, marking his guard. And an extra man has come into the slip cordon. 2 slips and a fine gully. It's 47 for 1. The crowd behind Flintoff as he roars in and bowls, and it's Ponting on the pads. They're appealing for leg before wicket, and umpire Bowden shakes his head. It looked possibly a bit high from here, but otherwise it seemed from this distance to do the right things. It trapped him in front. He was leaping up, Ponting. He gets in those positions, Ponting, early on in his innings, where he's very prone to be out leg before wicket.
A bit high and just, but that was on him sharpish. I bet Hawkeye shows a bow trimmer, though.
It's showing going over the top. Good decision. In goes Flintoff and bowls to Ponting. That's an edge and just bounces short of Giles there. At fine gully. Only a yard in it. Terrific stuff. It's quick. It's aggressive. It's full of intent.
But can't you just feel the change in the atmosphere in the ground? The whole ground is lifted.
It is Botham-esque. I know we should never say that. I mean, it's actually Flintoff-esque. That'll do for us. But
well, that's exactly what we should say. It is. Yeah.
For those of us who can remember the 80s, it does stir the memory. 47 for 1. In he goes again and bowls to Ponting. He's in on the pad once more. Umpire Bowden, what's he going to do this time? Again, he shakes his head. He was getting forward this time. What do you think of that pad fielder in there? He's going to try and get forward, I think, if he can, to Flintoff. I'd like to see a short leg fieldsman there. Try and stop him doing that. But, Peterson remains there at square leg. And Harmison's at mid-on. I think Trescothic's waving to Vaughan and saying, come on, let's get the man with the helmet in. He's waving at him. He's trying to... That's exactly what he's saying. I'm feeling it too, Marcus. That was exactly the gesture he was making. And now they're going to do it. How's that for telepathy? Ian Bell is going to put the helmet on and go to short leg. You never lose it, do you, yourself?
The old pro. Makes absolute sense. You don't want Ricky Ponting thrusting his pad forward there with impunity.
No, you don't.
You still, and they're quite right, they still keep that protection on the leg side because Ponting is so adept off his legs, and if Flintoff is going in for the LBW there, then he also runs the risk of Ponting clipping away.
So the short leg fieldsman is set. There are 2 slips a gully, and Flintoff goes rushing in and bowls to Ponting. Oh, that moves away slightly off the seam. It's a no ball. So Ponting, his brief ordeal here in this over hasn't finished yet. I think he's just dying to hear umpire Bowden call over. Take a breath and go and see his mate at the other end, have a chat. He's prodding away frantically at the pitch. But if there are that many gremlins in there, goodness knows what's housed in this pitch. He's tapping away all over the place. All nervous energy. Kicking away a bit more. Now he settles in. This is the last ball of the over. It's 48 for 1. And Flintoff goes roaring in again. He's there. He bowls to Ponting. Oh my word! He's caught behind. Is he there? Yes, he is. He's caught behind. A fabulous over by Andrew Flintoff. A wonderful over. Has seen off Ricky Ponting after Justin Langer. He's set him up perfectly. The short leg was there. He couldn't come forward. He pushed outside the off stump. And what a key wicket that is. And now there's some real belief here at Edgbaston that England can win this game. They've taken 2 wickets in a single over. It's their talisman Flintoff who's done it. A wonderful ball. It moved away off the seam. It was a jaffer. An absolute jaffer. And they all knew the edge had been found. Ponting disappears for a duck. 5 balls. You have to say 5 torrid deliveries. And just think, if he hadn't overstepped by a millimetre or 2 that previous ball, Ponting would just be standing there now at the non-striker's end, watching something else going on. But he's ripping his pads off. He's back there in the dressing room, and it's 48 for 2.
Well, that was just a brilliant over, wasn't it? The whole atmosphere in the ground changed. The minute he got the ball in his hand, we've seen what he's done with the bat. Everybody here willing him on. It's come alive. It was quite quiet for a little while. It's come alive now. He was right on the mark with his very first ball. He got the wicket with his second ball. And Ponting, my word, Ponting was given a serious going over there, wasn't he?
So he's taken 4 wickets in. How many balls then, Bill, in that little...
4 and 11, hasn't he?
4 and 11.
Sorry,
4 and 9.
4 and 9 balls.
Including the no
9,
ball.
yes.
Yeah, including the no ball.
4 wickets and 9 balls. That's going some. And Flintoff, well, he just waves a hand there to someone, I think probably his wife, who was certainly here yesterday. I haven't caught a glimpse of her today, but he just raised a hand there. He's got his hands in his pockets now, waiting there at second slip.
There have only been 20 or 30 instances of 3 wickets in 4 balls in Test cricket.
That's a good thing to do tonight, Bill. What an over.
Chile got 4 and an over here, didn't he? Chris Old. On this ground, I think. Chris Old, did he get 4 and an over here?
Yes, he did. And Caddick got 4 and an over up in Yorkshire, didn't he?
Yeah, Headingley, that's right, yeah.
It was a brute of a ball. Looking at that replay again, it nipped away, it flew through to Geraint Jones at head height. That's
as good a ball as been bowled in this match, I reckon. The one Geraint Jones got from Brett Lee was similar, but that was... It was a brilliant ball because he'd also been firing the ball into Ricky Ponting. Ricky Ponting would have been looking for the one coming in at him. He got the short leg in there.
Well, this really is something now. I'm thinking of those Australians listening where it's about, where are we? 1:05 in the morning. You can't go to bed now. You really can't. Perhaps you're in bed already. You can't go to sleep.
Simon Jones now.
48 for 2, it is Jones. A change of bowling. He comes in and bowls to Hayden. It's down the leg side. He tries to flick that away to find leg and misses. And Geraint Jones takes that neatly. Well, it's suddenly changed again, this game. It's been an extraordinary match. Win or lose, whoever takes the honours here, and one team will. It's been one of those games that no one here will ever forget.
Tell you what, I'm English perspective, I'm very glad Geraint Jones clung onto that as well.
Oh, yes, it might have been nasty. Well, he did. He took it very easily. 48 for 2. Hayden on 18. Waits for Simon Jones. Up he comes. He bowls a poor ball. There's a rather ragged delivery down the leg side and short, and everything was wrong with it, really.
Well, that was a block hole ball, that one. By block hole ball, I mean his foot went into the bowler's foothold there and just stumbled. God, what a snorter. Keep seeing replays of that ball. I'd have killed to bowl one of those.
Yeah, fantastic. Pace, bounce, movement, everything. 4 from 9 balls, Andrew Flintoff. And he's standing there. Well, certainly inside he's smiling, but he's looking very calm and relaxed. Outside, as Jones bowls down the leg side again, he's got to get his line right. Poor old Geraint tumbles off again. Michael Vaughan doesn't look entirely thrilled with the first 3 balls that have been propelled in this over. And this is interesting. He's going to move a man over, I think, to leg slip, is he? That would be the ultimate in setting a field for a bad ball if he does. Let's have a look. Flintoff is coming out from second slip, and he's going to come to, well, just mid-wicket, saving the single by the look of it.
I'm not sure I like that overly. I still want the other slip in, I think.
Yes. Well, let's see if Jones can get on target this time. Up he comes and bowls. No, he can't. It's down the leg side again. And Jones is cross, cursing there. That really was another wasted ball. 48 for 2. Can't get it quite right because he'll be nervous, he'll be anxious.
He'll be fired up by Fred at the other end, and he's trying to emulate. He's really hitting the crease as hard as he can, Simon Jones. You're right, he actually needs to just relax a fraction.
He's gripping the ball again.
He bowled really well in the first innings.
Yep. The ball's still nice and new. It's only the 14th over. And in comes Jones. He's there. He bowls to Hayden forward and playing it out to extra cover. The first time ball has made contact with bat in this over. And it's 48 for 2. The target is 282 for Australia to win this match. Time isn't an issue. Unless, of course, we lose the best part of a day and a bit to rain. So the match will end tomorrow, one assumes. But who will win it? Will it be 2-0 to Australia as we leave here? Or will it be 1-1 with 3 to play? 48 for 2. Here's Jones over the wicket, and Hayden goes back and defends the last ball of a rather wayward over from Jones, but at least he got those last 2 deliveries right. 48 for 2 with 18 to Hayden. Martin has yet to score, and we're all bracing ourselves for Andrew Flintoff's second over. More from Mike Selvey, and then it'll be Jim Maxwell.
Couldn't wait to get his sweater off there, Andrew Flintoff. He'd torn it off there before the umpire had called over at the other end. Itching to get back to his mark. Advice from captain, and Steve Harmison's down there putting his tuppence worth in. I can't think what he's actually offering to him that he needs right at this moment. He's on some adrenaline, Andrew Flintoff. What a competitor he is.
He made 73 from 86 balls with 6 fours and 4 sixes. 68 in the first innings, 3 wickets. 2 in and over here, and he could bowl England to victory here in this spell. I mean, he's bowling with incredible potency, moving the ball. That was a magnificent over, and Ponting couldn't survive. Martin's out there to face Flintoff, who runs in towards him, and he gets a bouncing ball just outside the line of the off stump. Just a sequence of deliveries coming in at Ponting, and then that one that went off the seam gave him no hope. Well, his only hope was to miss it, but he didn't.
That's as good a first up over as I think I've seen for a long time.
Great pace. He's just hurling him, his whole frame at the batsman. And England are on full tilt attack here. Here comes Flintoff. He bowls to Martin. Martin goes back and pushes the ball away on the offside. No sense of any alarm the way the openers have been going. And then Langer got one that bounced, and where did it go? From his elbow into the stumps?
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's certainly Flintoff's day. Probably, if it's not already Flintoff's match, even at this point, it is, I think, destined to be the way he is performing. the crowd surging behind him as he goes into Martin. Martin goes back and he stabs the ball away down the onside for a single, just to the right of Harmison and not all that far away from the man in at short leg. So Martin's away. Hayden's made 18, with England bowled out today for 182. And they can owe that position to some good fighting partnerships from a position of 6 for 75. Flintoff with Jones, who made 9, Giles 8, and Simon Jones 12 not out in a partnership of 51 for the last wicket. Warne persevered throughout from the city end, taking 6 for 46, and Lee was his support act with 4 for 82. Now it's Hayden down there, and they're just working on the field. Where to go, where to attack him. Couple of slips, a gully, no third man. There's a point, cover mid-off, mid-on. 2 men out on the onside. And Flintoff goes through, Hayden goes through his knee bends to get himself activated here, focused, to prevent Flintoff getting a wicket. Flintoff around the wicket, bowls now. Hayden leaves a ball that's going through at a very good pace. He's up near 90 miles an hour most of the time. And there's a real edge to England's bowling here with their pace attack that Australia are missing. They had it from Lee, but Gillespie and Kasparovich are the two that must have a query over them from here on, particularly with McGrath's injury. Gillespie 8 overs for 24, and Kasparovich took some stick, 3 overs for 29. Flintoff bowls, and forward goes Hayden, plays it well, firmly on the front foot, out to Peterson in the covers.
Does Tate come into the reckoning, do you think, for Old Trafford?
McGill might.
Might, yeah.
I think that would be, I would have thought, the better consideration around Warne to have McGill going. I don't know, I just think...
It's two seamers, you struggle with two seamers, haven't you?
Yeah, well, you can always put Gilchrist at 6, I suppose. Play the 5. Flintoff pitches up. A Yorker dug out by Hayden right up in the block hole, and he chopped that out of his crease. He's bowling at high speed and moving the ball. Thrilling bowling from Freddie Flintoff here. Australia 2 for 49 with Hayden 18, Martin 1, Langer playing on for 28 and Ponting out for a duck.
They're registering similar velocity on the speed gun there as Steve Harmison. There's a world of difference between the way the ball is actually arriving at the other end, isn't there? I mean, that's coming down with it's great solidity. I mean, he's bowling what cricketers call a heavy ball. It's a jar, it's a bat jar, it's the one that loosens the fillings.
He's looking a lot sharper than Harmison.
Well, he is, isn't he? And that's why I find, speed gun comparisons are... They don't seem to stack up sometimes, do they?
Now Simon Jones to Martin. He moves towards him, and Martin leaves a ball that's outside the off stump. So Australia still have an hour and 3/4 to go today. 2 more days in the match. Time's irrelevant. The weather forecast's good. It seems certain the game's going to end at some point tomorrow, but Australia are hoping that there won't be too many inroads here tonight. They've lost 2 wickets. Another wicket or 2 and they'll really be under the codge here. 2 slips and about a 4th slip. Jones trying to get the ball to bounce near the off stump. He goes into Martin. Martin is pushing at the ball that's full in length and sends it out to the enthusiastic Peterson at cover. Peterson today made 20, which included 2 big hits from Warne into the crowd just when the game had come to a standstill. Runs were barely coming in singles. He's hit 2 whopping 6s from Shane Warne over mid-wicket into the crowd. So he got the innings going for a while, but then Warne had him picked up by Gilchrist. Maybe a little unluckily for Peterson, and a tangle down the leg side. Jones goes into Martin. Martin leaves a ball that's full and wide. England just need Jones to get a bit more control near the off stump. He's a bit wayward at the moment. And Australia very much on the back foot. They haven't batted with a great deal of authority in this game, with Langer having to play the the ugly fighting innings to hold them together. And then Gilchrist late in the day with 49 not out. 282 Australia's target, 8 wickets for England. Afternoon sunshine here. Jones from the city end moves to Martin. Martin comes forward and drives him attractively for 4. That was a little bit full, and he played it into his favourite area. That's where I would think if you had a score chart of Damien Martin's career, it'd be 30 or 40% of his runs between square cover and backward point. So he's 5 and the 50's up. It's 2 for 53.
It was like Junior, that, wasn't it? So natural, people often say he's the natural successor to Mark Waugh, as in terms of his demeanour and the time he's got to play the ball and the elegance with which he does play it.
And Jones getting it in the right area, but just needs it to get a bit closer. He bowls now, pitches up to Martin. Martin drives it down to Vaughan at mid-off, who has a shot at the stumps. He's full of vitality out there. He ran Martin out in the first innings. It was backed up by Bell on the onside. So a buoyant and at times jubilant Saturday crowd in here. They had some wonderful entertainment when Flintoff was hitting sixes everywhere, and now they've decided to... They're very conscious of protecting the boundaries here, and they've got a man at deep backward point.
Well, but just restrict his best shot to 1, and still got your attackers.
Here comes Jones. He bowls to Martin. Martin goes forward and sends the ball humming up towards mid-off, and Vaughan to complete the over. So Australia 2 for 53. Martin 5, Hayden 18, Jones 2 overs for 4 runs. But Flintoff has the figures: 2 overs, no maidens, 2 for 2. On either side of the end of the Australian first innings, in this innings he's taken 4 wickets in 9 balls and 3 in 4 balls.
And he's in a position tonight, if he's only going to get this one spell out of him tonight, Michael Vaughan. He's in a position here to knock the top off this England task. And he's in the mood to do it, isn't he? He knows it's one big effort tonight, and he can put his feet up and come back again tomorrow.
And again, a manoeuvre in the field. There's a deep point. 2 slips gully. Deep point cover mid-off, mid-on. 2 men out on the onside. Around the wicket, Flintoff. Hayden comes forward. Keeps a quick ball out of the line of his pads and checks it down there towards Vaughan, who's out at mid-on. Matthew Hayden ruminating there as he meanders to the onside, just trying to steel himself for an effort. He hasn't had a big innings for some time, and his team need it now. It was one of the problems in Australia's first innings. They never really sustained any of the partnerships that started, and England just kept chipping away as Flintoff decides to go back over the wicket to the left-hander. He runs in and bowls to Hayden. Hayden comes forward and drives him down to Harmison out there at mid-off. And the support in the England field, clap, clap, clap. They're really enjoying this at the moment. Flintoff hurling himself at the opposition with some tremendous wholehearted cricket. Great to watch this performer. It's really the first chance he's had to show his quality as a genuine test all-rounder against Australia. He goes up at Hayden. No, he doesn't. As he got there, something went amiss, and he's got to go back and start all over again. Just lost it at the last moment and heads back to his mark.
It's landed a bit awkwardly, I think.
Yes, the footholds have been a bit of a problem here. I think they kept filling them up every day. He doesn't seem to have gone over in that area, but they keep restoring that spot where the back foot lands. He goes in now to bowl, and Hayden is taking it off his pads. A no ball down to mid-on, and Vaughan's ready to pounce. Martin was just lurking for a moment outside his ground. Vaughan grabbed it at wideish mid-on. It was a good stroke from Hayden, and a no ball makes the score 54. I think you forgive him a couple of no balls at the moment, as he's hurling the ball, running in like a bull at a gate here. We're going at the Australian batsman. Full tilt, high pace, plenty of energy. Here he comes to bowl again. Hayden goes forward and drives another no ball. well, maybe we shouldn't be so forgiving on the second occasion, but this is a no ball end here. Kasparovich and Lee bowled heaps.
Yeah, it is. I suppose the seamers have bowled mostly from this end when Shane Warne's dominated the City end, but you're right, there's no slope. They're not going down a biffing breeze. What wind has been a crosswind. It is a big one, isn't it? It's a couple of inches over.
2 for 55. Hayden 18. Flintoff bowls again. Hayden clips him away hard to the onside, and there's a man out there, that's Bell, in front of the crowd at deep square, and Hayden is 19, and it's 2 for 56. Now let's see if Flintoff can get the hustle near the off stump that he got to Ponting. That was an extraordinary little passage of play. He beat him with a couple of magnificent deliveries that cut back, and then one that hit the seam straightening, and Ponting, nonplussed, playing at it and nicked it.
I think what he will have noticed is that early on there against Simon Jones, Damien Martin was reaching a little outside off stump.
Flintoff bowls to Martin. Martin back edging, and the ball runs through the slip cordon down to the boundary for 4. Giles dived to his left. It was in the air for a while, but fortunately for Martin, it went through a gap between third and fourth. And Martin is now 9 and the score 60. But Flintoff won't be unhappy about that. Getting the bounce and a ball that was airborne just for a little while.
Does get a good seam position, Andrew Flintoff. Lands on the edge of the seam and does something off it.
He goes in at Martin. Martin's back, and he plays a good stroke too. He was right across his stumps, and he's picked up 4. Well, that was an excellent stroke. He was right across his stumps. He went with a little bit of inward movement on the ball and glanced it perfectly down to the boundary. Martin moves along to 13 and the score to 64.
I wonder whether he quite knew what was coming there, because I suspect he went across his stumps there to try and cover outside off stump to make sure his feet are moving, so he's not reaching out off stump, and it coincided with Andrew Flintoff darting one in at him rather than trying to move it away, and he was in the right position to clip it away.
He was showing the leg stump. Flintoff moves into Martin. Martin gets a Yorker, digs it out and takes a quick single on the offside, because Hoggard is back a tad there at cover point. So a productive over for Australia, with Martin getting a couple of boundaries, and 12 runs came from it. 2 for 65. Martin 14. Hayden 19. England dismissed for 182. Flintoff superb again with 73, and Warne took 6 for 46.
Those lower order partnerships could just turn out to be the turning point of this match, couldn't they? England 101 for 7 at one point, make 182, and that included a first baller in the middle of the last wicket partnership. So those runs added at the end are absolutely invaluable.
Now Jones discussing what to do with Michael Vaughan, where to aim his deliveries. Trescothick's very wide at slip as Jones runs into Martin, and Martin gets a short ball and he clips it down to the boundary saver behind point. Ashley Giles fielding out there, and probably not a bad idea. Drop one in short. Martin early on, he might have uppercut it, miscued it, but he picked up a run fairly convincingly. He moves to 15 now, 2 for 66, and Jones has got a crack at Hayden again.
Got out in the one day a couple of times uppercutting, I think, didn't he? But there was no man down here for that. It's a bit risky down here too, because it's a very short boundary.
2 men behind square for Matthew Hayden, and everyone getting excited in the park alongside where there's a big screen, because they can see themselves doing a jig, cavorting around and celebrating. And it's now Jones bowling, and Hayden drives powerfully, but not with any timing, towards Hoggard down there at mid-off. That was up and outside the off stump. They've got a third man in place here for Hayden. Just one slip with a point cover mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and 2 men out behind square.
He's making his intentions clear, though, isn't he? He's saying, I'm not going to be slanting this across you. It's a little bit of a clue for Hayden.
2 for 66. Hayden's on 19, and here comes Simon Jones. He runs in to bowl to him, and he's taking the ball on the rise, knocking it down quietly towards Bell out there in the covers. Bell was caught by Gilchrist from Vaughan for 21. Peterson made 20. Vaughan lost his off stump to Lee for 1. Hoggard, the night watchman, caught in the gully off Lee for 1. After Trescothick followed a ball from Lee and nicked it to Gilchrist for 21. But it was Flintoff's batting that kept England bubbling to their final total of 182. Simon Jones down at the city end runs into Hayden, and Hayden is taking the ball to the onside, walking across, walking into the bowling as he likes to do, but not scoring, with Flintoff picking up on the onside. So we've still got 25 overs, 24 overs after this to come in an hour and a half. So yes, a chance of getting through. How many more?
26 overs? After this.
26 after this. So we'll get most of the overs in, particularly if Gilo comes on again. He's bowled a couple of overs, 3 for 18 in fact. But it's Jones who's on his way to the big Queenslander, and Hayden smacks him away. Square of the wicket on the offside. Didn't quite time it, and it will be overhauled by Peterson running back towards the line at point. Hayden gets a couple to move along to 21. And the score to 68. 2 for 68. Not timing it there. Looked like he was going to smash it to the boundary, but he miscued.
Batting in his habitual position about 12 inches outside the crease to negate any swing there might be, not allow the time to swing. Not afraid of the pace, not worried about pace, just worried about the movement.
Worried about his bat at the moment.
He's actually, isn't he?
He's been giving it a turn and a twist, putting some pressure through the handle onto the blade, but he settles now, and it's Jones who comes to him, and he leaves the ball alone outside the off stump. So that is the end of the over, and at the end of it, Australia 2 for 68, Hayden 21, Martin 15. They need 282, and England fielding fairly confident with Flintoff in action here. And after Mike Selby, Henry Blofeld will join you.
Don't know whether he's got slightly creaky bat handle there. He was pressing down on it as if seeing whether it would come loose in the splice, because you don't want that, not least because it actually makes noise. We've seen batsmen in the past given out caught behind when the noise has come from the wonky bat handle.
Wonky bat handles. Well. It's going to be Flintoff again, and he's not so wonky. He's been bowling quite splendidly. Bowling from the pavilion end. His field's now being sorted out. We've got a first slip, a third slip, a gully, backward point, cover, mid-off. The offside not quite as fierce as it was. And here he is, Flintoff, on his way in to bowl to Martin. He's up to the wicket, he bowls, and Martin pushes that into the covers and thinks there's going to be a single there, but in fact a fine piece of fielding at Hoggard going to his right, and there was no run now. But I must say that over in which Flintoff got those 2 wickets was really simply sensational. And Ponting simply didn't know where he was. He survived 2 very confident LBW shouts, and then the last ball of the over went the other way and found the outside edge. Flintoff again tearing up to the wicket, bowls to Martin now outside the off stump. Martin plays no strokes, and through it goes to Jones. And the crowd in buoyant form, and it's extraordinary, wasn't it, how those 2 wickets lifted everyone from the England point of view. It had been, everyone was getting, I think, a little bit gloomy as Langer and Hayden were taking the score almost to 50. Then suddenly Flintoff struck, and it not only lifted the England players out in the middle, it lifted the crowd quite noticeably. And here's Flintoff again, coming into Martin. He's up to the wicket, he bowls, and Martin beaten there outside the off stump. That was a ball of fair pace. He played at it, missed it, didn't find the edge, and it was taken behind the stumps there by Jones, and finds its way back through the offside field. Trescothick, Giles, Hoggard, and everyone looking at the replay on the big screen away to our right. Oh, that was a real curtain railer. The bat pursuing the ball a long way from the body, and so Martin had a bit of luck then. Ball back with Flintoff now. Here he is again, charging up to the wicket. He's there now. He bowls, and Martins edges that, and it's very well fielded there in the gully by Peterson. And I think for a moment people thought that was a catch. It was uppish.
Squared him up, didn't it?
Absolutely. And it was uppish, but it didn't. It dropped a long way short of Peterson. But he went across to his left and did very well to field it. Peterson's quite deep in the gully. He now, in fact, comes a step closer to the batsman. As Flintoff's in again to Martin. He's up the wicket. He bowls. Martin comes forward. It's hit on the pad. The ball bounces away on the offside. Peterson, again, like a bolt of electricity, comes in from the gully and picks up. And this is another compelling over, isn't it? It's an over a little bit reminiscent of the one in which he got those 2 wickets.
Absolutely right. This is inspired bowling again. He thinks he's got Damien Martin going here. He thinks he's had him reaching outside off stump, playing away from his body. He's got a field that represents that. He's got no first slip, a second slip and a third slip, which is an unusual field.
And here's Flintoff again, racing in up to the wicket now. He bowls, and Martin gets into line, plays that down to Vaughan at mid-off, and it is the end of the over. Another spankingly good over, a maiden over. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 14. Flintoff now. Australia needing 282, a 68 for 2. Hayden has 21, not timing the ball at all yet. And Martin, who started quite well but had a torrid time in that over, is 15.
Yes, he did well to survive that over. He's both batsmen unsure. Matthew Hayden's not taken an awful lot of Andrew Flintoff actually, and I think at the moment Andrew Flintoff's happier to bowl to the right-hander because he's getting a really, really good rhythm there from over the wicket. He's moving the ball sharply away from the right-hander. A ball in that over to Damien Martin, very, very similar to the one that got Ricky Ponting. Martin not actually able to get a touch to it. Ponting, unfortunately for him, did. Clambering off a length, moving away, and at good pace. He's getting good carry off what is still a sluggish pitch.
Indeed. And it's going to be Simon Jones again from the City end. It's not just Harmison, you're absolutely right. And it's Harmison coming in now to bowl to the left-handed Hayden. He bowls outside the off-stump. Hayden plays no stroke, and through it goes there to Geraint Jones. And we've got 2 slips, backward point, cover, mid-off, mid-on, deep square leg and a fine leg. So the trap, as always, set for the hook, the top-edged hook, or the hook where the batsman doesn't turn his wrists and the ball goes hard and high out to deep square. Harmison it is. He's in now. He bowls to Hayden. Hayden plays no stroke, grateful to get out of the way. One which came through pretty quickly and with a little bit of lift, and through it went to Jones. And Mike Selvey's gone, and Henry Lawson has taken his place.
Yes, I thought he'd give Selva a bit of a blow. He's been doing sterling work, but he's enjoying it. Did you notice that real sense of enthusiasm with England bowling well and Freddie Flintoff charging in? And
you think Selv had rhythm as well?
Oh, rhythm and pace and footwork, and
joie de vivre, yes, indeed.
He thought it was 1970 again.
Here is Harmison. He's in now. He bowls to Hayden. Outside the off stump, and that wasn't so far outside. Hayden went wandering across, played no stroke in a rather ungainly manner, and through it went to Jones. Well, what can we say about Flintoff's bowling? It's been tremendous, hasn't it?
I was just sitting next door here in our studio, and I was getting goosebumps watching. It was just wonderful stuff. Charge in, hit the wicket hard, and get that extra carry. And I think he's got more carry than anybody in this game.
He really hits the deck, doesn't he?
Oh, and he was moving it a bit either way. Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff.
Harmison it is again, past umpire Kurtzin, in bowls that Hayden, who hooks, doesn't get a touch. Well, it hits him, doesn't hit it with the bat, and it rolls away towards the slips. Geraint Jones is after it and picks up. And Hayden looking rather mystified. He's not in good form, Hayden, at the moment. He is finding it very difficult to locate the middle of the bat. In fact, he did hit that on the bat, on the underside, and it went bouncing down towards second slip, and Jones got across and fielded it. Harmison in again, bowling to Hayden. He's there now, he bowls, Hayden goes back and slashes at that. Again, doesn't time it at all. It goes trickling out to Peterson, who comes in that marvellously keen way of his. And he's a terrific enthusiast, Peterson. Wants to be in it all the time. And it is extraordinary how those cricketers who really do want to be in it all the time attract the balls, don't they?
He does seem to have the ball in his hand a lot, Peterson, doesn't he? But he feels a cover, backward point where he is now. It's an area where the ball does go a lot.
And here's Harmison galloping in again. He bowls out to Hayden. Hayden goes back. He's going to get a run here. Going to get 2. I think he turns it away past mid-on. It's chased back there by Jones and picked up about 10 yards or so in from the straight mid-wicket boundary. And Hayden goes to 23. The score at the end of that over, 70 for 2. But again, Hayden not really looking confident. He's 23 and Martin's 15.
No, he's not. And you wonder if he's really watching the ball that closely. But if he can get through the next hour or so, maybe make it to stumps and be rough and ready and scratchy and just survive, that can do your batting a world of good. Just to be out there in the middle and scratch around for a while, at least occupy the crease. You can get through a shaky period.
Well, it's going to be Flintoff again. Who else? Flintoff at the moment 4 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 14, and he's going to bowl Damien Martin, whom he really roughed up in the last over. He's in, he bowls, and Martin will turn this round the corner, and Jones goes across and dives, gets a hand to it, doesn't stop it completely cleanly. Trescothick goes back and fields, and a leg by, a rather stuttering leg by, signalled by Billy Bowden, who very nearly lost his balance as he stood on one leg and tapped the other. And on another day, I think Jones would have reckoned to have stopped that. He went almost too far. He hit his glove somewhere by the wrist. Anyway, a leg by to the total, 71 for 2. And now Flintoff's going to have to bowl to the left-hander, which I don't think he likes doing quite as much as he does to the right-hander. Bowling to Hayden, round the wicket. He's up the wicket now. He bowls outside the off-stump, going further away from the left-hander. It was really a longish way outside the off-stump. No chance there of a stroke.
No, let's have a look at the feel. He's leg side. Once again, it's really interesting. Finally, what you call a long leg, Henry, and then the deep square leg just in front of the square. Now, they're obviously there for the hooks and the pulls. We saw Hayden miss one last over off Harmison, and then it's just a mid-on. So you drop the ball anywhere on the leg side, it's basically a single, maybe even 2.
And here comes Flintoff again, in bowls to Hayden, outside the off-stump. Again, that one just shaping away towards the slips off the pitch. And Hayden plays no stroke and then rehearses a defensive push in the crease at the other end.
And Flintoff almost fell over and fell forward over when he was halfway through his follow-through. And that's just an indication of how much effort he's putting into this bowling. The delivery stride is really hitting it with some pace and some acceleration, and he's got the maximum shoulder in it at the moment, really striving as hard as he can.
Here he is now, coming up to the wicket like a huge fit elephant, and he plays the ball very wide of the off stump, and there's no stroke there. When I say an elephant, he's a huge man and absolutely at the peak of his fitness. And now he's going to go back over the wicket. He doesn't like bowling round the wicket, I don't think. He finds it difficult to get the right line. And so he and Vaughan have decided that he should go back over the wicket. 2 slips in a gully, a fine gully. Giles claps his hands 3 times, geeing everyone up. There's white butterflies just flown in front of the sight screen, past the sight screen in front of us. And Flintoff is in now. He bowls that to Hayden. Hayden covered up, no ball called by umpire Bowden. 72 for 2. And Flintoff has overstepped a few times. How many has he bowled now, Bill?
That is number 4.
Number 4, and it's this end has been the no baller's end, rather. I don't know why that should be. When you played here, which end do you bowl from?
I could bowl no balls from either end here. I didn't have a preference. It's a very flat ground. You don't tend to have much of a rise at either end.
And here's Flintoff again, into Hayden. He's up to the wicket now. Hayden comes forward and drives, doesn't time it at all, and Flintoff acrobatically fields the ball in his follow-through. 2 pigeons, rather startled by the noise and general excitement, go flapping busily away past the cherry pick. They turn round and come back to have a second look. Maybe they haven't really taken it all in. In fact,
why would you fly away?
They come low
with this cricket on.
I know. They came low in front of us before disappearing over our right shoulder, having had a quick look at Bill Frindle. And it's Oh, no, it's not. Flintoff started. He has these very short strides at the start of his run. He started in and then stopped. Here he comes again. 3 or 4, half a dozen very short strides. He's galloping up the wicket now. He's there. And Hayden goes, plays at that outside the off stump. It went across him. Jones took it, going over towards Trescothick. And he could so easily have got a touch there. 72 for 2. And the end of that over, 23 to Hayden and 15. 23 Hayden and 15 to Martin.
And that last shot is a lovely little snapshot of where Matthew Hayden is. The footwork was nowhere. He got caught on the crease and just waved the bat at the ball. Just got the hands out there, no footwork at all. And it was reasonably full. It wasn't short of a length or a good length, the type of ball that Trapshill playing across the crease. It was reasonably full, and Hayden was nowhere to be seen. Now, the other thing that's happening is we've got some swing. And Flintoff's been running in, holding the ball, disguising it with both hands so that the batsman can't see either side, the shiny side of the ball. So they've got no idea which way it's going. We're only 21 overs in here, and yet Flintoff's got some big reverse swing going. Now, we saw it late in the innings when England bowled and Australia in the second innings, but he's all the more dangerous for having this reverse swing going.
And it's Harmison now coming into bowl to Martin, and it's short. Martin goes back and just steers this down, not very comfortably on the bounce to Giles, who's fine in the gully. He's almost, it's rather a strange slip, Gordon. We got Trescothick at second slip, Flintoff at fourth slip, and Giles, well, not sixth slip, but a fine gully, I think we'd have to say. And Harmison again, coming in as though his life depends upon it. In he bowls now to Martin, who plays a similar stroke, trying to cut a short one, stubs it into the ground, and it goes bouncing down very gently to Giles there in the gully. Both these batsmen are having difficulty locating the middle of their bats at the moment. This result of the pitch, do you think?
Well, I think the last couple in particular have come off slowly. Harmison's banged them in and they really haven't taken off, and I think Martin's got there a little bit too quick.
And Harmison's coming in again. He's up to the wicket now. He's there. He bowls, and Martin goes back and gets a single. It opened him up a bit, but he played it away to deep backward point, where Peterson comes in and fields, and there's just the single. So Martin goes to 16. It's 73 for 2. And what a fascinating piece of cricket this is at the moment. Umpire Billy Bowden goes marching across like a guardsman from square leg for the right-hander to square leg for the left-hander, wearing a rather splendid vice-regal Panama with a black ribbon round it. And umpire Kurtzon at the other end, a rather squatter figure. Not quite David Shepherd-like, but more David Shepherd-like than Billy Bowden. And we've got for Hayden the regulation deep backward square leg and the deep fine leg, and 2 slips and the close fielders, and Hayden having a good look round the field to make sure where they are. And here's Harmison fairly racing in to bowl to him. He's up the wicket, he bowls, and Hayden is hit on the pad. I think it runs down towards fine leg. Jones pursues it, and was that bat? No, it's leg by, signalled there by umpire Kurtzon, and the score goes on to 74 for 2. And Harmison working up a greater pace from the far end than he was from this end at the start of the innings.
He's looking good. This is a terrific attack at the moment. Both ends, good quality pace. Everything's up around the 90-mile-an-hour mark. 2 big guys who are banging the ball down on the pitch, using the uncertainties in the bounce. It's quality stuff.
Harmison in, bowls to Martin. Oh, Martin wafts at that one outside the off stump. Doesn't get a touch, and Jones takes it, passes it to Trescothick, who promptly drops it, and then polishes it before throwing it down to the offside, and it goes through the offside field and eventually back to Harmison. Have we got a sub there at extra cover? I think we have. Try and find out in a moment who's gone off. And it's Harmison once more. He's in, he bowls to Martin. Martin gets back on his toes, plays this into the offside. Vaughan goes swooping to his left in that athletic way of his. Picks up, it's the end of the over, another very good over. 74 for 2. And 16 to Martin, 23 to Hayden, and in fact it was the substitute, Gary Pratt, and Hoggard was the man who went off I dare say, to relieve himself.
Well, it could have been the reason he went off, but it didn't take very long, whatever he was doing. And I wonder if he's preparing for a bowl shortly. Depends how. Well, I thought Flintoff may have had enough, and he has. In fact, we'll have Jones on at the commentary box end at the moment, the members' end. And a very vigorous, energetic and quality spell from Freddie Flintoff. I think we should throw in the word wholehearted as well. He wasn't leaving much in the kit bag.
Didn't take prisoners, did he?
No prisoners, which is great. That's how you've got to play Test cricket.
Indeed.
Our little doubly medium paces. We want some quality. We want some pace. We want some pace, man. And that's what we got. We got some quality stuff from Flintoff.
Flintoff 5 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 15, is replaced now by Jones, who from the other end, the City end, 3 overs, 1 maiden, none for 7. And
well, the onus is on Jones now to keep up this quality.
Indeed it is. Here he is, and we'll soon see what happens. He's into the left-handed Hayden. He's up to the wicket now. He bowls, and Hayden goes to pull that round the corner and has got 4 runs. He hit it. It was a bad ball, a short ball. Jones needs to pitch it up, and Hayden just smacked it away. The first time he's really found the middle of the bat for some while. 27 to him now, 78 for 2, and that'll make Hayden feel just a little bit better. It was not a good ball.
It was a loosener. It was the classic seam bowlers, haven't had a bowl for an hour or so, first ball run up. I've changed ends as well, so I'm not quite used to this end at the moment. Long hop, and Hayden didn't mess around. So it's the kind of ball as a bowler you really mentally have got to guard against when you start a spell.
Well, Jones in again now. We got one slip and a fine gully. He's up to the wicket now. He bowls, and Hayden's better ball. Hayden comes forward, plays that down to Vaughan at mid-on, and there is no run there.
Now we saw Jones in the first innings get some good reverse swing, that wonderful spell on the second afternoon, where he had it just going away. It was still reverse swing, it wasn't new ball swing, but he hit the seam. He bowled a wonderful spell, good control and good pace. That's exactly what he needs to do here now. Just back up that. We know he's a good bowler. He knows he's a good bowler.
Well, it's Jones coming in now from the pavilion end, running in to bowl to Hayden. He's up to the wicket, a final leap now. He bowls. Hayden comes forward driving, and Peterson throws himself forward and takes that ball on the bounce at extra cover. And just for a moment, Peterson reacted as though that one might be going to carry to him, but I think it was in the air for a short time, but not for any significant length of time. Peterson then goes running across to have a word with Flintoff, who's in the gully. And he comes back, claps his hand. He's a busy cricketer, Peterson, and a vibrant cricketer, still clapping his hands. And Jones, I hope, feels the inspiration, and here he is, galloping in up to the wicket. He's there now. He bowls to Hayden. Hayden's forward, driving down the ground, 4 runs, and that was a piece of misfielding there at mid-off. It bounced, to be absolutely fair, it bounced a little bit awkwardly, and it went away to the boundary, and 82 for 2 is the score, and 31 now to Hayden, who's got 2 fours in this over.
Well, I mean, I must admit, Giles got a terrible bounce on that occasion.
He did, didn't he?
He got across there well, and it really did kick up, and you look bad when you miss that, and perhaps you should have knocked it down, but that was a terrible bounce.
It did bounce bad. He was unlucky. And here is Jones again, in bowls to Hayden. Hayden's forward, and he's caught. He's brilliantly caught there by Trescothick at slip, who flung himself to his left, got it two-handed. Hayden has gone. 82 for 3 Australia now. Hayden out for 31. He reached for that one, which was slanted across him. It got the edge, and Trescothick, a big man, dived full length to his left, took the ball quite high, rolled over, and held on. And it was a splendid effort, got both hands to it, and that is out. Hayden has gone. Australia 82 for 3.
What a terrific catch.
And while you talk, I'm going to get out of my pew and hand over to Aggers.
What a terrific catch. Trescothick is standing marginally wide for a start, so that's a win in the tactic department. He wasn't standing at regulation first, so maybe a step further to his left than a regulation first slip. Had he been at normal first slip, he would not have got to that. But the ball went rather rapidly. It went shoulder high, and Trescothick got there big man that he is, 2 hands away to his left. It went in so snugly and tightly, it was never going to come out. It was a lovely catch and a big catch. And then they're the types of catches you've got to take those. They get dropped. You probably catch half of those, I'd say, Agnes. You drop half of those, but that was taken, and they make the difference.
Yeah, it's a beautiful catch. I was just sitting there thinking that it would be sort of England's woe, if you like, that Hayden, who hasn't really scored a run and looked very settled in this series, will be the man who suddenly sort of got 100 here and guided Australia to victory. But he reached for that. It was a terrific catch, as you've described. And now with 200 more runs required by Australia, that 82 for 3. And Michael Clarke comes out to join Damien Martyn. They've lost Langer for 28, Hayden for 31, Ponting for 0. And that's, well, it's such a lovely start to a spell if you get a wicket in your first over.
Particularly when you've gone for 2 boundaries. We had the warm-up first ball and then the overcompensated half volley-ish and the misfield. Well, the misfield probably ends up in a wicket. If they had got a 1 or a 3, you're not even on strike. But so you've already gone for 8 and you're opening over. You feel as if you maybe let the side down a fraction after the great spell from Flintoff, but you get the ultimate reward. You get a wicket.
Umpire Bowden's having a long chat there with Michael Vaughan. I'm not sure what that's about.
It's because Simon Jones thought he'd just remind Matthew Hayden where the pavilion was. I thought he'd probably have a pretty good memory where it was, having just walked out there after tea, but
I thought he was waving to someone in the crowd.
Well, he may well have been doing that too. I can't point any motive to the bowler, but
anyway, here's Clarke's first ball. It's 82 for 3. In goes Jones. The sun shining is there. He bowls outside the off stump, and Jones will be applauded now. That's the end of the over. Well done him. And this game is, well, it's more than alive. It's on fire at the moment. It's absolutely remarkable. 82 for 3. It's been one of those matches in which so much has happened. And here we are with an hour of play left on this third day. Seeing a replay again of Trescothick's catch. It was a wonderful catch. Going to his left there at wide slip. It was high. And, well, it was a goalkeeper's catch, isn't it?
It's one of the great skills of the game, I mean, slip catching. Ball went very rapidly. I mean, high, the low ones are the toughest ones, but shoulder high. We had a great replay shot of it. And as a bowler, don't you just love it when they grab hold of those ones? You get the nick, you've worked hard, you've got the edge, and the slips fielder completes it for you.
Backs you up. So it's a lovely late afternoon. The sun shining, the shadows of the players there stretching out to their right. As we look down over the ground, anyway, the slips there in front of us. And Steve Harmison is going to bowl to Martyn. They're going for the caught third man ploy here by the look of it. Harmison comes in and bowls to Martyn, who cuts his away into the gully. And it's fielded there by Strauss. A section of the crowd roars. It's the Barmies over there, I think. That was hit firmly into the ground. So we've got 2 men out on the offside boundary. We've got Giles at third man. That's where you'd expect one. But Peterson has been deliberately placed at, well, a square third man, really. They're about 30 yards apart, and they're there because Damien Martyn has shown that he's prone to uppercutting a ball that's short outside the off stump and carving it down to those 2 players there. In comes Harmison. He bowls to him. He's trying to feed him this short ball outside the off stump. This one, though, was too wide, and it was left alone by Martyn. And now Michael Vaughan's waving to somebody, to Ashley Giles, who's getting him to loosen up. That's interesting because Jones has bowled 1 over, and Harmison is only in his 3rd of a spell.
Well, they may feel that Clarke's more vulnerable to Giles.
82 for 3. In comes Harmison, and he bowls down the leg side. Oh, it's going to be 4 byes or leg byes or something. It was a poorly directed ball, and it's byes, and poor old Geraint Jones had no chance there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes down as byes, but it is not the keeper's responsibility, that one. And it's not probably a wide either. It goes hard off the pitch and keeps going down the leg side, and Jones, full length, rolls over, watches it go to the boundary, lands up on his back, looks up at the umpire signaling the 4 byes. Oh no, wasn't my fault.
There was nothing,
and it wasn't his fault.
A speedster showed 81 miles an hour for that.
Well,
it's been faulty, that end all the way through.
Take those with a grain.
I think so, more than a grain, a bucket, I think. 86 for 3 then. And there's another change in the field. Ashley Giles now gone out to deepish square leg. It's not all the way out to the boundary. Still a square third man. In comes Harmison, and he bowls, and that's a glorious stroke from Martyn. He'll get 4 for that. It's a lovely shot. No real foot movement, it's sort of like a Caribbean drive, really.
What a game. I mean, that's an enormous shot, isn't it? As you say, not a lot of footwork. Let the ball come to him, sort of stood there and just hammered it.
Fantastic shot.
Point for 4.
Mark Ward have played that shot.
Oh.
Beautiful stroke. He goes to 20, 90 for 3.
Now, Harmison will come back with something good here. It's that kind of game. He won't bowl too bad ones.
In he comes, rushing in, and he bowls, and that cuts back, and Martin works it away off his pads. Giles is the man out there at deep square leg with a sun hat on. He throws the ball back in, and 1 run is taken, so Harmison here can have a go at Clark, who's taking guard. Interesting way these slips are lined up, with a big gap between Jones and Trescothick. Trescothick really standing at orthodox second slip, except he's the first one, and Flintoff alongside him. So Jones will have to go if it's anything within range to his right. He's got to go for it. 91 for 3. The target is 282. In comes Harmison, and he bowls to Clark, who drives down the ground. Can the fielder get there? No, he can't. I thought he had done. It was Hoggard, and he slid across the turf. That was an expensive over, with the byes and a couple of boundaries and a single. 13 came from it. 95 for 3.
Impressive from Clark, though. And got hit for 4, but you don't want your fast bowler bowling a new batsman. He's on naught. Get it full and straight, and that was, if he misses, well, it's in the vicinity, isn't it? I mean, it was a lovely shot. It was a great riposte to a respectable delivery, a lovely on drive to get off the mark, and that sort of sums up the kind of test match we've had. Lots of audacious batting, some quality bowling. That's why we're nearing stumps on day 3, and the game's just about run its course.
Kevin Peterson has popped off the field for a moment, so Gary Pratt is out there at extra cover. He spent a lot of time on the field in this game, hasn't he, Bill? Do you keep a sort of a Pratt log or not? He spent a lot of time on the field.
I do note these things in the margin, yes.
Excellent. Well, he's had a lot of time out there. I'm not sure there's something going through the England team or not. A bit of a bug or something.
There are quite a few Pratts in the notes column.
Hello. 95 for 3. And in goes Jones. He's there, he bowls, and that's worked away by Martin off his pads down to long leg. That's where Harmison's fielding. Rather thoughtful Harmison after that over. He flung a horrible one down the leg side. And there's a cracking square drive played off him by Martin, and he's driven straight for 4 by Clark. Giles continues to loosen up, so it looks as if he will be coming on to bowl the next over at the far end.
It was almost a get off over.
Yes. 96 for 3. The target is 282 for Australia, and there's what remains of today, which is about exactly an hour's play, and then 2 full days to go. They won't need those, and nor will England. Someone will win tomorrow. In goes Jones, and that's pushed away off the front foot by Clark. Pratt's out there, and so 1 run is taken. 97 for 3.
Like, I will say, we've talked about lots of no balls from this end, but we've seen lots of bowlers kicking the footmarks from this end as well. And yesterday morning when I was out there, they put the repair thing. It's something we don't do in Australia, maybe because the wickets are harder, but the little square of soil they compact overnight.
You don't have
that. You never see that. You either kick the hole out completely, but the wicket's a bit harder, so you don't get the holes. But all the bowlers seem to have had trouble with that.
I suppose it was the damp again, wasn't it? When the pitch was soaked.
A little bit soft underneath.
Bits have kicked out. And,
the bowlers aren't quite sure what their front foot's going to do.
Yeah. In goes Jones, and he bowls, and that's flicked away, it's uppish. In fact, it was more than uppish, it was definitely in the air, but there are a couple of runs here for Martin again, as Harmison slides across the green grass down there in the distance. And Australia move on to 99 for 3. They'll like it when they get to 100. It's always a good landmark, that, for the batting side when you're chasing a target. Or as I say these days, chasing down a target. Not quite sure when chasing a target became chasing down a target. Was that one of yours again?
Hunting down a target.
Is that an Aussie one?
No, I don't think so. We used to just chase the target.
Yeah, it's only in the last 2 or 3 years, I think, that we've been chasing down targets. Bill's got the Tipex out, oh dear. Rather a lot of Tipex going on there. What's happened, Bill? In goes Jones. And that's on the leg stump again. That's another poor ball. Oh dear, a couple of ragged overs here by England. And Martin's going to get 4, which brings up the 100. And it's amazing, isn't it, when there is a target in sight. Everyone knows what the batting side has to get. Just a couple of boundaries, a couple of profligate overs by the fielding side, and you suddenly feel that the onus again has back with the batting side. Although I must stress, 282 is a big target to chase.
Now, I just want you to have a look at where the field's going.
Yes.
We've got a deep square leg. We've got one slip now, and a third. Freddie Flintoff's going to third man.
That's very strange, isn't it? It betrays Michael Vaughan's thoughts. In goes Jones, and this brings Martin forward. And it's Vaughan who feels there himself, who rather snatched at the ball there. He's a bit angry, I think. England's skipper seems a pretty wayward bowling in his last 2 overs, which have accounted for how many runs actually, Bill, in the last 2 overs have we had?
We've had an 8, 9 plus the 4 byes, and we've had 8 off this one so far. So it's gone from 74 rather rapidly. It
has.
In just under 3 overs.
Now 103. In goes Jones, and kept it a little bit low. And Martin there played across the line along the ground to mid-on, where if Giles picks it up, he'll keep it. I think he's going to come on and have a bowl up there at the City end. So Jones's figure's taking a bit of a dent. 5 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 23 now. Harmison, 9 overs, 2 maidens, no wicket for 25. Hoggard, 3 overs for 16. Just reminding myself, Harmison didn't get a wicket in the first innings, did he? No, he rarely goes.
He only got 11 overs, didn't he, in the first innings? Well, Giles bowled the 26 and did a very good job. And the others picked up the wickets.
So 179 more to win for Australia. They've got 7 wickets in hand. And, everyone who's got a ticket for tomorrow will be absolutely thrilled at this stage. It used to be that Sundays weren't terribly well attended when they first came in. It used to be the rest day, of course. But now Sunday's very much a popular day.
The players weren't keen on turning up on Sundays.
No.
Rest day had its upside.
Had lots of upsides, I thought.
You could rest.
Absolutely. Seems it's an old-fashioned thing now, isn't it?
Rest golf, watch the Sunday League game on telly.
Tony Cozier's beach party in Barbados, not to be missed.
Windy Hill-Smith strip up the Barossa.
Well, it's 103 for 3. And Giles taking a long time to set this field. We're going to run out of time, I think, tonight. 6 o'clock will be the cut-off. 55 minutes from now. And what have we got? We've got a slip, a silly point, 3 in the offside, saving the single. There are 2 men on the leg side boundary, over there to our left. And Giles comes in over the wicket. He's bowling to Clark, who's forward here. Gets a bit of a tangle, though. The ball goes running back towards the slip fielder, Trescothick. You often see Flintoff in that position to the slip fielder, actually. But Trescothick, for now, reward perhaps for that very good catch that he took a few moments ago. See how Clark plays Giles. He likes to get on with it. Clark, he plays a few shots. This is Flatter, he goes back, gives himself room, and he's forced that for 4. Square through the offside, a very good stroke too. He's very quick on his feet. Fast in the field. And he got it in a beautiful position there.
Quick feet ain't quick hands. But I don't think actually Giles will be all that disappointed with that shot. He sort of backed away well.
It's an element of risk to it.
There is.
107 for 3. Clark now has 9. And Giles again comes in and bowls to him. He's squared up here, turning it away into the leg side. Giles was able to run through and pick the ball up, so there's no run. 107 for 3, chasing 282. It's been an eventful day, to put it mildly, as we're expecting in this Test match. I'll run through England's card in a moment. Brett Lee, though, took 3 for 4 in 11 balls pretty early on this morning. Here's Giles bowling. Clark forward, there's no run. Trescothick made 21. Vaughan 1, he was out 2 balls after that. Hoggard clung on for 27 balls, he was out for 1. Bell made 21. Peterson 20. Geraint Jones 9. Giles 8. Harmison no score. There was a terrific last wicket stand of 51 between Jones and Flintoff, who made 73. It's some massive sixes again. Here's Clark, hit on the pad. Giles follows through and picks it up, including one that was fielded by Graham Gooch. way up on the television gantry above us, right on top of the pavilion. It's an enormous hit up there amongst the potting sheds.
He hasn't lost it, Gucci. Hands are still good.
That's a massive blow, but he was the last man out, having a bit of a slog at Warne, his 599th wicket. Flintoff out for 73, so 182 all out. Set 282 to win. And here's Clark coming forward, playing that away for Bell to field there at Scilly Point. Lee took 4 for 82, Gillespie no wicket for 24. Casper got some stick, 3 overs for 29, and Shane Warne 23.1 overs, 7 maidens, 6 for 46. Stands on the brink of his 600th Test wicket. 107 for 3, the target 282. More from Jeff Lawson, and then Jim Maxwell.
Thanks, Eggers. Well, despite the tension in this game, the run rate is still over 4 and over from the Australians. Today, England began at 25 for 1, so they added another 50 odd. There's been 360 odd runs today. We've still got 18 overs left, and really that's how this whole match has progressed. Just this helter-skelter pace. No matter that wickets are falling, runs are still being scored, and the pitch is, it's okay for day 3. It's not a belter by any stretch of the imagination. It's turning a bit up and down a little. It's neither a belter nor unplayable. It's just somewhere in the middle, but the batsmen keep playing the shots, James. And I'm not complaining, mind you.
The wickets keep falling at certain moments, though, don't they?
Oh, that's why you do sense this could be very close tomorrow.
Australia wouldn't want to be losing more than a wicket, you'd think, between now and stumps, though, to be confident of running down the score. Here comes Hoggard, and Martin drives him beautifully. He's caught! He's chipped it to the onside, he's out! He hit it to Bell, and Bell's taken the catch. Martin's out. Hoggard gets a wicket with his first ball coming back on, and that's a big wicket too. Well, 4 for 107, and he's out for 28.
Big wicket, good catch from Bell going to his left, but a cheap wicket. First ball, it's a half volley, probably a straight half volley, probably maybe heading for middle, and Martin just chips it a bit off. Now we'll see the replay, see if it holds up off the pitch. Well, not a great deal. I think it's just a shot that lacked a little care and discipline. I think Ian Bell was almost surprised that particular shot was hit to him. And Martin, who once again was looking very good indeed, goes to 28 to back up his 20 run out in the first innings. And just as we talk about Australia not wanting to lose wicket, they do. But it must be said in a rather careless manner.
So Simon Kadich comes out, and just as another partnership looked like developing, a wicket falls. So England surely be getting more and more confident about their chances of taking this game. Kadich out for just 4 in the first innings. Gilchrist, of course, another danger man at number 7. It's still looking like a very good last day, but England more and more in a position where they can force a victory. And today, vital lower order partnerships sustained them after they'd been 6 for 75, 7 for 101, 8 for 131 and 182 all out, and it was Flintoff with 73 from 86 balls, 4 sixes and 6 fours. And that performance by Flintoff lifting England to a lead of 281. Warne did his best and had support from Lee at times, but Gillespie and Kasparovich struggling a little bit, although Kasparovich only bowled 3 overs and Gillespie 8. But it's England on top here, with Langer playing on off Flintoff for 28. Ponting in a magnificent over from Flintoff, the same one that had Langer dismissed, was caught by the keeper for a duck. Hayden well caught by Trescothick acrobatically to his left at slip of Simon Jones for 31. And now Martin just chipping the ball to mid-wicket, out for 28. So Martin's made a start in both innings, rather carelessly run out in the first innings by Vaughan's direct hit, and now perhaps a careless stroke in the second innings.
Yes, I think he can take responsibility for both those dismissals. It's interesting, isn't it? Jones wanted up, his warm-up ball got pulled for 4. It was a long hop. Hoggard's warm-up ball was a half volley and takes a wicket with it. Sometimes that's the way the game goes. You don't necessarily have to bowl a good ball to take a wicket, but I would have thought in this match situation that And Damien Martin might have been a little more careful with that particular shot selection. However, he wasn't, and he's out, and you don't get second chances.
So Simon Kadich to face Hoggard, fresh into the attack. He's got a wicket, and he has Kadich pushing forward and getting 4 runs straight away through the offside. So Australia continuing to keep the board moving along here. They're going at 4 and over in this innings. Quite a few boundaries have been struck throughout the match, but even here. So Kadich is 4, and it's 4 for 111. Flintoff taking 2 wickets, Jones and Hoggard 1 each. And now what's occurring here? Clark's just motioning to Kadich with a field placing. Well, there's a man deep at cover now. A first and a third slip. Deepish gully. A deep cover, a cover and a mid-off and a mid-on. A man in front of square and a long leg. Now, Hoggard, who's had a few lookalikes in the crowd today, bowls here, and Kadich leaves a ball just outside the off stump. He saw the line of that, judged it well. It was only just off line.
Well, it was well bowled. The first ball that was hit for 4 wasn't quite a half volley, but they've got the reverse swing going. The first one went across him, and he followed it well. Kadich played a lovely shot. The next ball he bowled came back at him. And yeah, that's good bowling. Don't get the batsman set against one particular shape that you're bowling. And Kadich new to the crease, is not probably watching the ball. We've got to get a little bit of a close-up of the ball. Look at the shiny side, that's the big key. Which side's it on? I think this will swing in towards Kadich.
Hoggard bowls to him now, and it's short, and he cuts it down to third man for 4. Maybe an edgy cut, but it went straight down into the turf between those spread out, scattered slip fielders who aren't on a conventional line. So 4 more to Kadich. He's 8, 4 for 115 as he chopped it down between first and second slip.
Well, first and third, isn't it, really, the way they're standing? It went to second. But England have chosen to split their slips, and it's paid off from so far, particularly with the Jaskothic catch.
So it's been a mixture in this over as Hoggard goes to Kadich again, and he leaves another ball that's just on that off-stump line, bouncing through to the keeper. So a wicket-taking ball, a couple left alone, 2 others hit for boundaries, and Australia continuing to maintain a strong counter-attack here where they can. They're going to keep playing shots. Clark's already hit 2 boundaries in making 9. Kadich 2 in making 8. Hoggard away from the pavilion end. Dashes up to bowl to Kadich. He walks across and cuts at this and got an under edge. I think it didn't carry to the keeper. Bounced well in front of Jones, diving away as he chopped down on that ball. So Hoggard returns to the scene with a wicket, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 24. Australia needing 282. 4 for 115, about 3/4 of an hour before stumps on the third day.
Well, Kadich, we've seen Kadich be quite watchful, particularly in the first test. He's not quite the dasher that perhaps some of the other Australian order are. However, here he's played a cover drive first ball, and then he's played a cut. A little bit fortunate, went down, so it wasn't a chance, but got it between first and third slip, and then he had a go at another one. So perhaps he's been taken up by the moment as well. Australia want to chase aggressively. Well, that's fine, but you can't go hard at every single delivery.
It's Giles to Clark. Clark down the pitch and drives him sweetly wide of mid-on and up to the line for 4. A humming stroke that was. Used his feet and took the ball away, just opening up his front foot, and drove it smoothly, splendidly out to the boundary. 4 for 119. Another 4 ball.
Yeah, good shot, though. Had some footwork to it against the spin, out of the foot marks. Yeah, it's a brave shot in many ways, but lovely to watch.
Giles over the wicket to Clark. Clark down and driving towards mid-off. Not scoring here, as it's fielded down there by Flintoff, who had a strain in his left shoulder, which required, as we understand it, an injection. And he's still looking a little ginger on that left arm. But his right arm's the powerful one. He hit sixes with the right arm and then came on and ripped out 2 wickets in 1 over. A slip and an under the nose on the offside. Giles in. Clark drives and drives sweetly through the covers. That's 4. Give that away. Another boundary. This is it's exciting cricket. And Clark, 17. He just keeps playing his natural game, and if it continues to come off, it'll keep Australia in the hunt. But I just wonder, in the circumstances here, if he can keep selecting the right ball to go after.
Well, that was a half volley and probably got what it deserved. The on drive had some good footwork and perhaps not quite to the pitch, but that was a half volley, and Clark doesn't have too many inhibitions. He sees a bad ball, he goes after it.
4 boundaries in his 17 not out. He looks around the field. There's a deep forward square here. Giles bowls to him and he comes forward, and there's a fumble there by Jones, but there wasn't an edge as he knocked the ball down onto the bails. So a long on, deep mid-wicket really, in a deep backward square with an orthodox mid-wicket. Mid-off, cover, backward point, and those 2 men close on the offside at slip and silly point. 4 for 123 as Giles goes up at Clark. Clark comes down, pushes the ball, knocks it right in front of him out on the offside. So Australia going along at a good clip here, but just being checked up by the loss of wickets. Giles into Clark. Clark comes forward again to a length delivery from Ashley Giles. It completes the over. 2 boundaries struck in that over. Giles 5 overs for 30. Australia 4 for 123 with Katic 8, Clark 17, Langer made 28, Hayden 31, Ponting 0 and Martin 28.
Oh, just the 2 boundaries off that over. And a play and miss. Keeping Giles interested. If they keep going after Giles and getting 6 to 8 and over, I think Vaughan might have to change. They don't bleed too many runs at the moment.
Yes,
it might be time for if they could get Flintoff back and save it 20 minutes before stumps. That'd be terrific. Just one, maybe a 3 over burst. 3, maybe 4 at the most.
So it will be Matthew Hoggard after another consultation with his skipper. And a field here. 2nd slip really, and a 4th slip. Hoggard bowls, Katic comes across and he forces the ball through the infield out to a deep cover. Strauss is fielding in the deep, and Katic is 9 at 4 for 124. So a day of excitement in the crowd because there's been this competition for the best dressed, the fancy dress, and it was won by a group from Wolverhampton and Walsall. The Whoopee Cushions was what they called themselves. A mixture of policemen, electricians and prison guards.
Wow. Do we have any photos of them?
Well, I'll be on a website somewhere, I'm sure. Their spokesman, Whoopi Goldberg, is whooped with surprise.
Is it just me or the electricians the odd ones out there? I don't know.
Here comes Hoggard to bowl, and it's defended by Clark across his stumps down towards mid-on. Have you moved around the crowd today?
I have a bit of a look outside. I must admit, when I walk by the back of the Holly stand and I see the beings that are coming out of it, I move past quickly.
The babies?
Put an
babies?
extra spring in my step when I go to the back of the Holly stand. I don't want to move on.
How many blessings from a Pope have you had today?
I've only seen 4 popes today. So we're down. The Pope quota is down today in the ground.
Hoggard again moving into bowl to Clark. Clark takes him away to the onside, using his wrists to get a single out to the man in the deep, Strauss. And it's 4 for 125.
But I've seen Snow Whites and
the dwarfs.
I didn't see any dwarfs. It was just there was a gaggle, or maybe a giggle of Snow Whites.
There was some
with 3-day growths.
Now there was some Johners. I may have been doing Aggers an injustice there. Maybe it was more in recognition, memory of Brian Johnson, but they all looked a bit like Aggers.
Oh, it's a bit harsh.
Oh, it's a compliment, isn't it? Hoggard goes up to Katic. Katic leaves the ball alone outside the off stump. They were more chrome-domed than he is, though.
Yeah, but he's going that way. He'll get there eventually. Well, probably sooner rather than later.
Gucci might put him in touch with someone and get the retread, get the carpet relayed. It seems to be an option that a few go for these days. Vanity may have nothing to do with it, but it could.
I think if he gets some hair, he'll look a much better pair with his lovely wife.
Yes. 4 for 125, Hoggard's bowling. Katic is leaving outside the off stump. And I had mentioned it before, of course, you can get in touch with us at TMS. What's the address again? TMS.co.uk is the website. And the other one is bbc.co.uk/TMS. Yes, that's where you want to go.
I noticed that the BBC haven't gone for the ABC innovation of the webcam. Maybe they're a bit scared that people actually see the voices that they're hearing if they tune into the website.
Well, it's one to think about. I'm sure there'll be some customers out there who'd like to look in as well as listen. And there are plenty listening in. We're getting messages from all parts of the globe. And the more that this game builds up towards a climax tomorrow. Hoggard runs in at Katic. Katic gets a very wide ball outside the off stump and shows no interest in it. 4 for 125 with Katic 9 and Clark on 18 here. Australia not quite halfway to the target. England just about.
Yes, it's only 29 overs gone and 125 on the board. 15 overs left in the day, but we won't get that, will we? It's only 35 minutes until the stumps, but it just doesn't seem like the third afternoon. It feels like, I don't know, the fifth lunchtime, or the game's just raced along. It's incredible pace. Haven't heard anyone complaining though, James. Well, I think the crowd in the Holly Stand have been relatively quiet, really, but I think their attention's been on the game so much. You just can't afford to lollygag about the back of the stands or muck around because all the action's been out in the middle.
Yes, I think of times today when the beer sales have been quiet because everyone is just riveted to the action. Now, Giles was starting, but there was movement in the field and Clark held him up. And, of course, next door, as we can't get more than about 20,000 in here, there are a lot have been watching on the big screen. Clark drives the ball away into the covers at Cannon Hill Park across the road. 5,000 have been watching the cricket there. And I'm sure a lot of you have been following it on the radio, driving down the motorway, heading back home very late at night in Australia perhaps, or just there in bed with your tranny on. Forward goes Clark, defends another ball down in front of him at 4 for 125. It's very absorbing here, and Vaughan must be thinking that if Giles can't do something here, he's got to spear one of his main fast bowling thrusts back into the game before the end of play tonight. Just over half an hour remaining. He continues to manoeuvre his men. He's now got a deep point, backward point for Michael Clark. Over the wicket, Giles bowls to Clark. Clark goes forward, plays the ball out on the offside. Mike Selby, what would you be doing with the bowling rota at the moment?
Well, I think I want another punt with Freddie Flintoff, that's for sure, before the close, just to unleash him. Ashley's not making a lot of headway, is he? But this is the end for Fred to bowl.
Yes.
The pavilion end.
From the city end, Giles bowls and Clark drives, and the ball travels out behind point towards Harmison for a single. Clark moves to 19, 4 for 126. Yeah, so Giles has been going for 5 and over. Flintoff, that wonderful spell, took 2 wickets in 1 over, 5 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 15. And all this after England were bowled out for 182. Warne taking 6 and Lee 4. Warne up to 599 test wickets. He bowled unchanged from the start of the day until the end of the innings down at the city end. 22.1 overs today. Now they're just resetting the field. It always seems to take a long time to do that, and there's some fellas decided to sit on the white seats down at the far end, and he's probably picked a spot where he's not going to obscure the batsman's vision. As Giles over the wicket, has Kadich leaning forward, just propping on the ball and knocking it behind point there. So he's not causing too much fuss at the moment, Ashley Giles, but if they can just keep the game tight, keep chipping away, he may come into it on the final day, on the fourth day. There's now a man close in on the offside. Giles bowls, back goes Kadich, and he cuts. He does pretty well there. That ball bounced, and he's chopped it towards third man, and it will go for 4. Despite Hoggard's attempt to stop it, he dived in vain, couldn't control it, and Kadich moves along to 13, and the score to 130. 4 for 130, and Giles conceding 5 more, 6 overs for 35 runs.
He did well to play that, that bounced, didn't it? He played that off the top of the stumps pretty much, and timed it very well down to third man for 4 more runs. I think they would like a little quiet period here without too many boundaries, because these boundaries are chipping away at the total. And I still think it's a pretty even game, to be honest with you. There's nothing much happened on this pitch. It hasn't really spun for Brashley here, hasn't found the rough. He doesn't spin it, of course, like Shane Warne. There's been little in the way of up and down movement. The only real menace has come from Andy Flintoff, who is indeed going to come and have a bowl. Well, that's a good thing.
Yes, he's on here at the pavilion end, and he's had a big impact on this game. He's an all-rounder of stellar quality, and Australian fans are getting the opportunity to enjoy that. Well, some of the time they're enjoying it. Enjoy it more if he doesn't get another wicket tonight. But England hopes go with him. He bowled an amazingly rapid over at Ricky Ponting, in which he got him out. He jagged a couple back, and then one hit the seam and hit the edge. It was tremendous bowling at high speed. But he was charging in like a rhino from this end, having a crack at them. Now there are 2 men out on the onside for Michael Clarke, and that man at deep mid wicket probably is there to protect the boundaries more than swallow up a catch, as Clarke's been playing pretty much in the V. Let's see what he does here with Harmison. Couple of slips in the gully. Flintoff gets the roar. He bowls now, and Clarke pushes to the offside. Away goes Peterson, running around it to throw. Misses the stumps. They'll think of a second no, says Clarke, as it's fielded out in the deep by Jones. He just run a little too far at the bowler's end. So 1 more makes it 4 for 131. So a very keen little half hour to go today, in which Australia are wanting to get through without another loss and set up some drama tomorrow.
I think they'd certainly like to get Adam Gilchrist in tonight. Have 2 bites at him if he can go at him early on tomorrow morning if he survives the evening. That'll be their ambition.
Flintoff again on the offside field here. He wants protection out on the boundary. Michael Vaughan doesn't want to give away those easy 4s that come across the square here when a push, just a good push, runs out to the boundary. So Jones is back on the line. Flintoff around the wicket to Kadich. Kadich goes across and pushes the ball out towards cover. There's a fumble by Peterson, but he recovers and they don't score. Peterson chasing hard there to make sure that they didn't take advantage of his little fumble at cover. 4 for 131. Australia needing 282. The highest score to win in the 4th innings, 3 for 211, but teams have made more than that to lose. And as we keep saying, we're not at the last day of the match, only going 3rd into 4th here as Flintoff bowls. Forward goes Kadich, hits it firmly, too firmly, towards Vaughan to pick up a run as he came in from mid-on.
Right over onto off-stump Kadich, and we saw that from other left-handers against Flintoff round the wicket. Try and cover the ball going away. They'll know where their off-stump is, they know what they can leave. It also gives him the opportunity when he does bowl it in at them to just work him away on the leg side.
Yes, well, he was out nicking one that left him in the first innings when there was some reverse swing from Flintoff, who bowls now, and that's bouncing hard outside the off stump, and Katich didn't like it, so he watched it fly by him. Most of the crowd are still here, as we saw yesterday. It's such an absorbing game, you don't want to miss anything. Just the next ball could be influential in the outcome. Might get a wicket, and now Flintoff decides that perhaps over the wicket's a better option. Try and hit the deck and go across Katich. He's cruising in. He's bowling now, and Katich walks a long way across again, takes it through the onside, has one. Vaughan around to collect, and one it is. And he moves along to, what's he now, 14? 4 for 132. And this brings Michael Clarke back on strike. Clarke played very well in the first innings, and then just deceived by Giles bowling a quicker delivery that he nicked to the keeper. He was out for 40. And now Vaughan with Flintoff. Flintoff hoping he can get some explosion at length around the off stump, like the ball that removed Ricky Ponting. He runs in now and he bowls to Clarke, who cuts and chops it straight to Bell, who's out there in the gully. Can't get it past him, and that completes the over. So 25 minutes to go. They won't get all the overs in, but there'll be enough to keep the pressure on Australia. 4 for 132. Katich 14, Clarke 20, and Mike Selvey's here, and the Blowers is coming in to join him.
Very strange signal to the dressing room for sustenance for Andy Flintoff. What's he got? A drink and a banana. There you go. It's banana for energy. Quick release. Energy for him. Bananas were slow release, actually. I thought they wouldn't work until he's off the field.
Don't the tennis players eat bananas?
Well, you do, but I thought they were relatively slow release. They just kept you going rather than a sugar rush.
Well, I wonder, maybe he just wants to be kept going.
Perhaps he just wants feels like a banana, I suppose.
Well, yeah, absolutely. What was that song of Jimmy Edwards? I've never seen a straight banana.
Never seen a straight banana.
Yes. Right. Anyway, it's going to be Giles. And let's hope we don't see too many straight Gileses. Let's hope he turns it, and, from England's point of view, and upsets Katich, the left-hander, to whom he's bowling now, over the wicket. He bowls. Katich goes forward, and that one bobbles in the air as a yellow catch it. Bell from forward short leg goes across, but he can't get to it. Whether there was a bat on that, I dare say we will never know for certain. If there was anything, it was pad and then glove, but I don't think it was. Although Giles was full of excitement and anticipation as ever. Now, the field is being changed all the time to try and give the batsman something to think about, to unsettle his concentration. It's good tactics by this. Ponting was doing exactly the same when Australia were in the field. We've now got Strauss coming in from deep mid-wicket to short mid-wicket. And here comes Giles into Katich. Up to the wicket now, he's there, he bowls, Katich stretches forward and just pushes the ball back to Giles, and it's Bell who goes treading delicately across the pitch, picks up and returns to the bowler. More changes. We've now got Strauss coming into Silly Point. Vaughan himself has gone across from the offside to short mid-wicket, and Jones at deep backward square leg has moved just a fraction finer, and Giles in bowls, and that's driven there by Katich out to deep cover, and it's a tremendously quick piece of fielding, but they run a couple of runs, and that was Hoggard out there who got to it very quickly indeed, and the score goes to 134 for 4 and 16 now to Katich.
He's brought that man in off the fence, so he's actually offering him the slog over mid-wicket, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
With the spin.
And Giles it is in bright sunshine, coming up to the wicket now, bowls. Katich is forward, playing that straight to Bell at forward short leg, and there's no run there. What a fascinating game of cat and mouse this is. It's England itching to get another wicket tonight. We've got just about 20 minutes left for play. And it's Giles in. A slightly waddling run. He bowls. Katich goes back and hit on the pad there. And Trescothick is picked up at silly point by Strauss. Trescothick then waves to the pavilion, suggesting that Strauss wants a helmet, I think. And we'll see what happens, whether one emerges from the pavilion in a moment. Here comes Giles again, up to the wicket, bowls to Katich. Katich goes back, and he's caught a slip by Trescothick at second attempt. He went back, he probably should have gone forward, and it went into Trescothick's hands. It bobbled out, but he then hung on to the rebound, and Australia have lost their 5th wicket. Katich has gone for 16, and really that is exactly what the doctor ordered for England tonight.
That's perfect, isn't it? And that's really well bowled, and great captaincy, you know. He's moved his field around, he's unsettled the batsman, and that's just an arm ball from Ashley Giles. It's gone straight on, he's flicked it. Good lucky bounce for Marcus Trescothick. On another day that'll have gone down, but the force is with England a little bit now, so... and that, of course, brings in Adam Gilchrist tonight, which is, again, exactly what they want.
They have 2 goes at him.
Well, and Andy Flintoff in his start of a spell.
Well, this is really exciting. I think England, they want to have a go at him tonight. Obviously, they'd love to see the back of him tonight, but he's going to have to start again in the morning.
Exactly that. They'll have a good go at him tonight. Of course, extra bonus if they can get him out tonight, but if not, they do have another go at him first thing in the morning.
Another left-hander, and was that the end of the over, Bill?
It was indeed, and Australia have lost half their wickets, and they're not quite halfway to this total. 141 is the halfway mark.
Indeed, 7 overs, no maidens, 1 for 37. Giles, he's been expensive hitherto, but he's got a crucial wicket there. And now it's going to be Freddie Flintoff again, who'll probably have 3 or 4 more overs tonight from this end, and he's going to bowl to start with to Clark, who's made really a very polished 20, looking in good form as he did in the first innings. But Clark has got a little bit into the habit of doing the hard work and then getting himself out, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think England fancy the chances against him, put it that way.
Well, there's a great conflab going on here. The Troika, we've got Vaughan, Flintoff and Harmison all pooling their thoughts together. Flintoff in the middle, it's in the middle of the 3. Vaughan has now gone away to mid-off and is sending Peterson down to the 3rd man boundary. We've got Hoggard there at deep cover, 2 slips and a deep gully, a fine leg, deep square leg and a mid-on. Well, my goodness me, who says that Test cricket's dull? You'd never see a better game of cricket than
this has been a wonderful game.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Here's Flintoff coming in now, up to the wicket. He bowls that to Clark outside the off stump. Clark lets it go by and then plays an extravagant square cut when he knows the ball is safely in wicketkeeper Jones's glove. A rather startled pigeon flies over our left shoulder. And the old dirigible over there, the light blue dirigible with those white tail fins, is still floating around. Yesterday it was pulled down for some reason late in the day. And strong wind is the reason, was it? But it's got also a sort of little thing that looks like an orange kite hanging onto the line by which it's attached to the ground. Flintoff it is now, coming in to bowl to Clark. He's up the wicket, he bowls. Clark goes back and runs this down to trying to run it to 3rd man. In fact, it's cut off there by Bell from backward point, running to his left. And I think just for a moment the batsman thought there was a single there, but there was not. And Australia now, I dare say, with just 18 minutes or so left, they're not going to be so worried about boundaries. It's staying there until tomorrow that's going to concern them. And as Bill said a few moments ago, they are still not yet halfway. 141's halfway, they're 134 for 5. If England get 1 more wicket now, then will be thinking they're through. Flintoff is in, bowls that Clark. Clark plays no stroke to one that wasn't very far outside the off stump, was coming back into the right-hander. And Clark came down the wicket. He and Flintoff, I think, looks as though they may have had a bit of a discussion. Clark prods the pitch down. Much prodding has been going on today. And really, everyone on the edge of their seats. It's been tense, it's been nail-biting stuff, this. And it's going on right to the very end. Another pigeon disappears to the left. A rather hurried, dark pigeon. in a hurry, I dare say, for its tea. And here comes Flintoff again. Racing in up the wicket past umpire Bowden. He's there, he bowls Clark. Clark goes back. Had to hurry his shot there. It goes down to Harmison at mid-on, and there's no run. 89.3 mph. Flintoff's 90 miles an hour or thereabouts almost all the time. And Bill moving the other headset so you can see the clock. 17 minutes to go. And by our clock up here, but which is not to say there is 17 minutes to go, as we don't know which clock the umpires are going by, whether they're going by their own watches or the clock on the scoreboard over there in the distance, or one on the pavilion. Here comes Flintoff into Clark. He's there, he bows, and Clark plays no stroke, rather extravagantly, bending at the knees and leaving his bat above his head. And through it goes to Geraint Jones. And Gilchrist goes down the pitch, has a word with Clark, gives the pitch a prod. There's been an awful lot of prodding going on, and umpire Bowden now goes down the pitch, picks up a bit of loose stuff, throws it away, kicks it away, and he had found a stone, I think. He got back to his mark and then threw it as if towards mid-on. Anyway, he's taken up his position with his legs apart. And here comes Flintoff up to the wicket now, bowls to Clark. Clark goes back, gets into line, plays it to Vaughan at mid-off. Another hostile over, a maiden over, 134 for 5. A fine piece of bowling again by Flintoff. 7 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 17. 134 for 5. 20 to Clark, and the new batsman Gilchrist has not yet faced a ball.
Yeah, let's see what Adam Gilchrist's strategy is tonight. He's got 15 minutes till the close. Will he say, right, I'll make sure I'm here for the morning, or will he just be Adam Gilchrist and play by instinct?
It's often when players like that start playing not by instinct that they get themselves into trouble.
That's true, going against your normal games.
Well,
I think his instinct is always, if the ball is there to hit, you might as well hit it. Doesn't matter whether it's the first over of the day, the last over of the day.
Whether it's
a hittable ball, hit it.
Morning, noon or midnight, I quite agree. And he's taking guard, he's prodding at the pitch. The field again is being much altered. Give it to you in a moment, but Gilchrist looking round, 3 men round the bat, a slip, a short extra cover, that's Michael Vaughan, and the forward short leg, Ian Bell. And Gilchrist, who really is a pocket battleship in this Australian side, an amazing striker of the ball. Giles in, over the wicket, bowls to him, and he goes back rather hurriedly, plays that gently to Vaughan at short extra cover, who claps his hands. We've got a deep cover, deepish mid-off, deepish mid-on, square leg, and 2 men deep on the leg boundary. As Giles in again, bows to Gilchrist. Gilchrist tries to play that one away on the leg side, and it goes off, I should think, the leading edge, down past Trescothick at slip, and that could have gone anywhere. And he gets a single. Trescothick goes back to fetch it. But he was aiming on the leg. It went... bat and pad, it squeezed between the two of them.
He gave runs for that, did he?
Yes, he's got a run on the board. Yes, there's no signal.
Well, then he's lucky. You're quite right. That could have gone anywhere, couldn't it?
Yeah, indeed.
It was a quicker ball by Giles. It was significantly quicker, actually. It wasn't just a little bit quicker. That was a medium-paced seamer. 135
for 5. Then Gilchrist 1. Clark was in strike, has 20. And here's Giles in. Bowles gives over pitches, and this one is hammered away out to Hoggard to Strauss there at deep mid-wicket. The throw comes in like a heat-seeking missile to Geraint Jones behind the stumps. 21 now to Clark. 136 for 5. And Strauss comes racing in off the boundary to take up his position now at I think square leg, saving the 1. Yes, that's where he's just in front of square. And Giles it is, into Gilchrist. He bowls now. Gilchrist takes a pace down the wicket, plays defensively. Giles looks belligerently at him, picks the ball up, walks back in the evening sunshine. It's a lovely evening. The weather now better than it's been all day. And what thrilling cricket we're watching. as Giles is in once more over the wicket. He bowls and he's down the wicket. He's caught. He's out. Gilchrist has been caught by Flintoff there at mid-on. He came down the wicket, and that is really the massive strike that England wanted. 136 for 6. Gilchrist couldn't restrain himself. He took a pace down the wicket to Giles, hit it low to Flintoff at mid-on, and Australia are 136 for 6. Gilchrist has gone for just a single.
Well, that leaves an end open now. That could be the end of Australia. Not quite at the pitch of the ball. It just held up a fraction. We hit it to the biggest hands on the pitch, Andy Flintoff. Great buckets. He could take those around the ground as collection buckets, couldn't he, those things?
What's so marvellous looking around the ground? Everyone's standing, the relief on their faces. I know for Australian listeners it must sound as though we're terribly biased. We're not. It's been an absorbing game of cricket, and you must realise this too. And in point of fact, if England do win this match, it's going to level the series at 1-1, and it really is going to make for an exciting rest of the summer. Now, the next batsman in is not Warne, as you might have expected, but Jason Gillespie, who showed yesterday that he could really combat everything except the straight Yorker from Flintoff, which was a humdinger and had him absolutely plumb in front.
Well, if they knock Gillespie over, let's say, we might still be in the realms of an extra
half hour. I was thinking that a few moments ago too. 136 for 6. And the ground really a hum. Just listen to it. The Australian contingent is standing up over there, I'm afraid rubbing their eyes slightly in disbelief, because really a target of 282 does look a veritable Mount Everest at this point. Gentleman on my left standing up, drinking, sipping a pint of beer, grinning with his glasses perched on his head. Another chap in a white sun helmet with all dark glasses on, hand up to his head. He's got a lot of smart red striped shirt. And he's asking a friend, a neighbouring friend there, who was hatless. They're making some comment about the catch or something. Anyway, Gillespie is out there. We've now got a slip, a silly point, and a forward short, and a silly mid off and a forward short leg. And Giles bowls, and Gillespie just pushes that one out on the offside.
Round the wicket.
Round the wicket, yes indeed.
Rare sight, collector's item.
136 for 6 at the end of the over. 21 to Clark, who watched all that from the other end, and Gillespie not yet off the mark. And the man out in that over, Gilchrist. And what an important moment that was for England.
Well, he earned that wicket, actually, Giles, you know. He bottled him up there. He varied his pace. He bowled him a quicker ball, which he was lucky to get an inside edge onto his pad, which, as I say, could have gone anywhere. He teased him there. He just threw that one up a little bit more. It just held a little bit as Gilchrist down. I don't know whether that's Gilchrist being himself, whether it's arrogance even, a little bit. Common sense says he really should have got through to the close. You know, if there was a ball to hit, yes, but that wasn't there to hit, was it?
And now it's Flintoff in, bowls now to Clark. Clark fends this one away off his body, takes his bottom hand off the bat. That really came at quite a pace at him. And Jones goes and picks up at backward square leg, shies at the stumps at the bowler's end, but Clark is comfortably home. He's 22, and Flintoff, Giles, by the way, 8 overs, no maidens, 2 for 39. His first 6 overs, very wayward. His 7th and his 8th, both wicket-taking.
Well, that was the quickest ball I reckon he's bowled to Michael Clark, and a bit of adrenaline pumping through Andy Flintoff on the back end of that wicket. And now you can see another wicket at the other end there.
Well,
Gillespie's going to get it, isn't he?
He is, and Gillespie will be fearing the Yorker, won't he? And he won't be quite certain he isn't going to get one that's going to take his hat off.
He could get either or, couldn't he?
Yes.
Oh, he might get both, indeed.
He's going to be in two minds. And everywhere, the field, they're all running around everywhere, like, I was going to say like mad chooks, but of course, Vaughan has in fact handled this very shrewdly indeed. 3 slips, gully, a deep backward short leg, a forward short leg, and here is Flintoff in, bowls now to Gillespie, it's the Yorker, and he's hit him in front, and he's LBW. It's an absolute repeat of what happened yesterday. It was the perfect Yorker. Gillespie couldn't get down on it, and he is out. LBW to Flintoff for naught, and Australia are now 137 for 7. And who could believe it? that he could repeat it absolutely exactly.
He might have been expecting it, mightn't he? But expecting it and getting it and playing it, two different things. It started to reverse. It's come in. Was that missing leg stump? No, hitting leg stump. Bang on. Well.
The inside of the leg stump too.
It's tremendous bowling, to tail enders. He's getting very, very good at this, Andy Flintoff. The tail used to be one of England's problems in Test matches. They could not get rid of the tail. He comes on. He's an enforcer, isn't he, Andy Flintoff?
Well, isn't he? And now the extra half hour.
Yeah, it could
England
be.
might well want to take it. Shane Warne's coming in anyway, wearing his sleeveless Australian sweater. He's going to take guard at the danger end. Can Flintoff now give him a Yorker too? The way he's been bowling, I wouldn't wonder if he can't.
Well, he's on fire, isn't he, Andy Flintoff? What a competitor he is.
Oh, isn't he? I mean, he really... there's no doubt he was man of the match, to my mind, in this. 60 in the first innings, 70 in the second, and these wickets, it's been absolutely miraculous stuff. And Warne is taking guard rather slowly, looking like a man about to walk the planks. It's 137 for 7, 282 is the target, and that, I'm afraid, is now over the other side of the mountain for Australia. Something very remarkable would have to happen if they were to get there now. Still, there's two slips, a gully and a forward short leg, and Flintoff is in now to bowl to Warne. He's up to the wicket, he's there, he bowls the Yorker, and Warne plays it round the corner extremely well, and it goes out there to Hoggard at deep backward square leg, and Warne's off the mark with a single. So it's 138 for 7, and Flintoff attempting the Yorker, not quite getting it right, and it just sliding down the leg side, and Warne helping it on his way.
Ball's reversing now, though. That's big danger tail enders. I don't like that. 90 mile an hour in-swinging toe crunchers.
89.3 mph. It's formidable stuff, isn't it? This England bowling side really now with Flintoff is really the hit man. Here he is now running into bowl to Clark. He's up to the wicket now, he bowls, and Clark turns it round the corner. Down it goes to fine leg. Harmison is there, fields and returns to Jones. So 23 to Clark. It's 139 for 7, and that one even quicker, 90.4 mph. And I must say, watching Flintoff alone has been worth the money today, batting and bowling. And goodness me, there have those lucky people who've been here for all 3 days of this match. They've seen something they surely will never forget. I suppose the Australians may feel they want to forget it as quickly as they possibly can, but they have seen some truly memorable cricket.
Well, I think even the Australians will look back on this match, should they lose it, and say, thank goodness for that. At least we've got a series. We heard Justin Langer say yesterday that he said we really respect the way England are coming out at us now.
Well, indeed.
Why did it set up the rest of the summer, this now, though?
It says a lot for what went on in the 10 days after Lord's. In the mindset of the Englishman. Flintoff's in, bowls now, and Clark gets into line, pushes out on the offside, and it's Hoggard who's at mid-off who fields. And Gilchrist faced within 8 minutes, faced 4 balls. Gillespie in 4 minutes, and he faced 2 balls. And after this next ball, we are going to leave for the shipping forecast. It's Warne now who is facing, and here comes Flintoff up to the wicket, bowls now to Warne, and Warne's hit on the pad, trying to grind away the leg. There's an LBW appeal, not out, and he may have been outside the line. He was walking across his stumps, and so with the score 139 for 7, Radio 4 listeners will go now to the shipping forecast where Andy Rushton awaits. And for everyone else who is listening, we continue. There is about 2 minutes to go on the clock. Whether we will get extra time or not, we obviously at this moment can't tell, but I should think the likelihood must be that we will. 139 for 7. The only thing is, the weather forecast is very good, and so the Englishmen may feel that they want a refreshed Flintoff in the morning rather than to... the umpires are talking together with Michael Vaughan then, and I dare say the topic of conversation is the extra half-hour. Bill?
Well, they wouldn't have this crowd roaring them on, and the force is with them.
Well, I agree with you entirely. Absolutely.
I certainly think the force is with them. I think anybody who's got a ticket tomorrow would be here, wouldn't you, to come and see this? Is tomorrow a sellout? Do we know? Or not?
Actually, almost certainly it is, yes. I'm sure it is.
You'd want to pitch up, wouldn't you? If there's one wicket left, you'd want to pitch up.
No, you would. 1:39 for 7. It's Ashley Giles who's going to bowl. And he is going to bowl to start with to Michael Clarke, who has 23. The batsmen have conferred. And we've got a slip, a silly point, and a shortish extra cover, Peterson. And now umpire Kurtzen is talking into the, and it looks to me as though they're going to take the extra half hour. And Giles it is, coming in now, up to the wicket. He bowls to Clarke, who takes a pace down the wicket, plays defensively. Bell goes jog-trotting across the stumps, across the wicket, picks up and returns there to Giles. Giles back at his mark. Comes in now, up to the wicket. He bowls, and forward there comes Clarke, and it's Bell who does the fielding. Bell from Silly Point. 1:39 for 7. Australia's target was 282, and England have taken the extra half hour. It's come up on our television screens, and so here is Giles again, and that's a sort of push drive there by Clarke. He goes out to Flintoff, the hero of the hour, who's fielding a deep at cover, and the score goes on to 140 for 7, and Clarke to 24. And 140 for 7 the score now, Australia. We've got a single to the new batsman Shane Warne, 24 to Michael Clarke, and Ashley Giles is in the middle of his 9th over. The last two have both been successful, and he's now going to bowl to Shane Warne for the first time. Warne is taking guard, and England have claimed the extra half hour. They feel they've got an excellent chance of winning tonight, and so they have. The force is with them, and Australia are going to have to fight very hard indeed to stay there. Warne, in fact, now is taking time off to do up his bootlaces, which have come undone. However,
they have to bowl 8 overs.
Yeah, technically it's not half an hour, is it, Bill? It's 8 overs, yeah.
And 8 overs after this one, yes, that's is the form. 3 men round the bat, slip, silly, point, forward, short leg. Giles in, bowls to Warne. Warne is forward, and it's Bell who just polices the ball back down the middle of the wicket before picking it up there and giving it back to Giles. And Warne's over his bat, waiting for Giles now, who's in, bowls, and forward comes Warne. It's picked up there at forward short leg by Bell. Bell, who took a good catch at mid-wicket to dismiss Martin off Hoggard, off the first ball of Hoggard's second spell. And very significant wicket it was too. Giles in again, bowls. Warne takes that on the pad, it bobbles up in the air, and it is the end of Giles' over. 140 for 7. The crowd cheering the announcement that the extra half hour will be taken. It's 140 for 7. Warne has 1. Clarke has 24. And amid all this high excitement, after another word from Mike Selvey, I shall hand you over to Jonathan Agnew.
Yeah, it's quite absolutely the right thing to do. The bowlers are still fresh, just 36 overs gone. The weather set fair tomorrow anyway, but no need to think, we'll give them a bit of a rest. Andy Flintoff's only in the 3rd over of a spell here. They've got the momentum of this crowd behind them. They've got the occasion, they've got the adrenaline pumping, and they want to go in and try and finish this, or as near finish it as they possibly can now.
Hello, Sel. 16 wickets have fallen today, and Blowers has taken most of them in here. Here goes Flintoff. That's short and pushed away into the offside by Clarke. Warne rather reluctantly runs down to the business end. I don't think he quite wanted to get there, but he's urged to by Clarke. They've got to take every run, the Aussies. The target 282, and they're 141 for 7, with the extra half hour having been claimed. So 8 overs. An extra 8 overs will be bowled, and if we ever get there, then they'll be deducted from Monday night's play, but I think that's unlikely. Extraordinary day, remarkable game. And England on the verge of a famous victory, they hope, they think, their supporters certainly hope. Warne waits for Flintoff, he's dashing in, he bowls to, he's on the pad, they're appealing for leg before wicket, everyone's appealing for leg before wicket. But umpire Bowden says not out. And I've just been up there, I must say, amongst the potting sheds up on the roof, and the noise up there has to be heard to be believed. And a roar like that up there just nearly blows your hair off.
It must be great being out there in the centre of this, you know.
But that's why there's no doubt about claiming his half hour, is there?
No,
it's on a roll, no. Everyone's with it.
That's absolutely right. So they're only 36 overs into the innings too, which is
141 for 7. Little Nick saved Warne there. And in goes Flintoff, he's rushing in, he bowls in, hits him on the pad again, that's going down the leg side. And Giles wanders up from the gully to field the ball. What excitement, what drama.
I think just for their self-esteem, Australia have got to get through to tomorrow, haven't they now?
Well, they don't lose too many test matches in 3 days.
Yeah.
Jim mutters Mumbai. Last year was a 3-day, was it? 141 for 7. Warne is on 1. He looks up to see Flintoff rushing in and bowling a full toss at him. It wasn't that high. Warne looked rather startled, as he's entitled to do. You don't expect it up there. Hoggard pursues the ball towards deep mid-on. And 2 runs are taken. Flintoff there going for the Yorker. Didn't quite get it right. And it certainly wasn't a beamer. It wasn't a signal of no ball or anything like that. But Flintoff has just put in such a massively wholehearted display here with bat and ball. He's giving it absolutely everything. Hurling himself into bowl. He's just putting everything in. 143 for 7. Warne has 3. And Flintoff goes rushing in again. He bowls on the off stump. Warne squared up and shouts no as Clark sets off for an unlikely single. Peterson prevents it at cover point. The stewards are out around the ground. In fact, there are a lot of them over to the right. We've got the Red Brigade, and they're the real heavy mob. I think the green ones are the anti-streakers, and the red ones, I think, are anti-everything else. And I don't think anyone's running on over there. They're just absolutely, thoroughly enjoying themselves. 143 for 7. All urging on England. There are a few Aussies there, keeping quite a low profile. In goes Flintoff. And Warne turns that away easily enough from middle stump out towards deep square leg. They'll have a single. So Warne goes to 4. It was the last ball of the over. And it's 144 for 7. With Clark, who's played very well on 25. Warne on 4. And that target for Australia is 282. At the moment, that's a long way away, but they've still got to get these last 3 wickets. We're looking at a view of the cricket in the park. Cannon Park, isn't it? Or Cannon something Park behind us here. Cannon Hill Park. Thank you. We've got a Brummie engineer, which is good news. Quick as a flash on the talkback. Thank you, Dave. And apparently 5,000 have been watching in there. I think there are 5,000 there at the moment. I think over the 3 days possibly that adds up to 5,000. But they're sitting there in the park. You can potter along during these test matches. And Giles comes in and bowls to Warne, who goes for a slog, just as he did in the first innings. A wild swipe through deep mid-wicket, and he misses it. And the ball very nearly bowled him.
He's doing what his mate did. Anything you can do, KP, I'll do it.
Yes, KP generally hit the ball. That's the only significant difference.
That's
144 for 7. In comes Giles. What's Warne going to do now? He's prodding forward. And Strauss picks that up at silly point there. He's got the helmet on. Well, wouldn't this transform the series? It really would. England can win this match. What a transformation. In comes Giles over the wicket. And Warne is forward, pushing again up to silly point. There's tension, there's exhilaration, there's excitement, all those emotions you feel around the ground. And the noise is, it's deafening out there. 144 for 7. There's something flying around Shane Warne's helmet. I'm not sure it is, a fly or a wasp or something. He swats it away. Now he's ready, and Giles comes in again over the wicket, pushing us through flat. Oh dear, there's a poor shot from Warne again there, trying the most expansive cut. But if someone had played that to him, he'd have been yelling and shouting. There'd have been a cry of catch it, I'm sure, and he'd have been spiking his hair up and growling and chatting away. But Ashley's rather quieter than that, and he simply goes back to his mark. And up he comes again, and bowls to Warne, who covers up and defends this time, and that's easy for Trescothick to field and prevent a run. 144 for 7.
Ashley come out with the old cliche when you say, "I'll let my bowling do the talking." Yes, thank you, Ashley.
I think he probably would. Well, he's had a good match. Up he comes again. Point goes a little bit deeper as he ran in. There's a little signal there of something. They were trying to give Warne a single, perhaps. But he turns that last ball away for Bell to field at forward short leg. And the over comes to an end. So 6 more remain to be bowled tonight. It's 144 for 7. With Clark on 25. Shane Warne has 4. And I was looking at the Australian card. I was going to give you a recap of the day because I need to go all the way back to England's card, in fact, because they lost 9 wickets today. We bowled out for 182. Trescothick 21, Hoggard 1, Vaughan 1, Bell 21, Peterson 20. Those two might both have been unlucky with umpiring decisions. Jones 9, Giles 8, Harmison 0. And there was a stand of 51 priceless runs between Flintoff, who made 73 and hit 4 sixes and 6 fours, and Simon Jones, who made 12. That really did make the difference, psychologically and just in every respect. There's runs taking that target up to 282 for Australia. They started well. The openers put on 47 for the first wicket before Langer was bowled by Flintoff. It was his second ball of the spell. He was thrown the ball finally in the 13th over, and he just changed the whole match. He changed the atmosphere, and England for the first time really looked as if they believed they would win the game. He's now going round the wicket to bowl, and that's flicked away by Clark out to deep mid-wicket. They'll get 2 here easily enough as Jones runs around on that square leg boundary and throws the ball in. So Langer out for 28, bowled off his elbow, and then Ricky Ponting was subjected to the most torrid burst. It was he was hit on the pad twice. He let a no ball go outside the off stump. There was another ball, and then he nicked a beauty off the last ball of the over to be caught behind for naught. It was a fabulous over to complete a run for Flintoff of 4 wickets in 9 balls if you take the first innings into account. In he goes again and bowls to Clark, who calmly goes back and plays that to Bell at point. Martin made 28. He was caught by Bell at mid-wicket off Hoggard. Katic was caught by slip off Giles for 16. Gilchrist drove Giles to mid-on for 1. And Gillespie, there was LBW to Flintoff, who was a Yorker, and he was gone for a duck. So there's Lee and Kasprovic to come, and Australia need a total of 282 to win. They're 146 for 7. In goes Flintoff, and he bowls again, and Clark fields for this, playing off the back foot. Again, it's fielded by Bell there at point, and so there's no run. And throughout the mayhem, you have to say that young Michael Clark has played extremely well.
Yeah, he's played with some assurance and calmness.
136 more Australia need.
Shouldn't lose sight of the fact that Shane Warne can actually play. It's not over till it's over, of course.
Indeed. 146 for 7. Clark is on 27. Flintoff rushes in and bowls a Yorker that goes straight past his off stump. That was no distance away at all from bowling him. Well, it's Clark's day at the moment. That one really did just shave that off stump.
Right, and that didn't quite reverse like he liked. It was the right line at the start. It didn't dip in as you might expect, as it did for Jason Gillespie, for example. Otherwise, that off stump would be fetching that back from somewhere down by Geraint Jones.
146 for 7. And in goes Flintoff again. He bowls, it's short. Clark gets right behind this and plays up to mid-off. Bill, he's got so excited, he's run out of those rather florid green notes, so we're now on to sort of paler yellow. And it tells us that Flintoff in this test has hit 68 and 73. He's hit 9 sixes, so he's scored a total of 141 runs. And so far he's taken 6 wickets, 3 for 52 in the first innings, 3 for 24 in this so far. And that spell of 4 wickets in 9 balls.
A couple of catches too, don't forget those.
Yeah, absolutely. All this with a dodgy shoulder. In he goes and bowls a full toss again, going for that Yorker. Clark prods it away out to mid-on. And not much of an apology there from Flintoff. He simply growled at him. And there's terrific aggression, hostility, and a real feeling out there. England know they have to win this game. They simply do have to. And they're tantalisingly close. But there's still 3 wickets to take. 146 for 7. 5 overs remain to be bowled tonight. And then we'll come back tomorrow on whatever frequency or URL, to quote Web Talk, that you're listening to us on now. We're back at 10:30 British Summer Time tomorrow for the rest, if these 3 wickets don't go down tonight. And there's Warne sweeping Giles, but making no contact with that. And Bell fields at short leg. No one's left. Not a soul has left the ground. Giles licks his fingers. He comes rolling in again. What's Warne going to do? He comes forward, that bounces away into the offside, just wide of Strauss's outstretched hand at silly point. And there's no run. Stewards sit there, lying on the grass. Most of them looking at the crowd, but some, the cricket fans amongst them, can't resist watching the cricket. Now here's Giles, and Warne goes for a huge swing into the leg side. It's a big hit. He's got some retaliation. It's gone for 6. And, well, he's conceded a few in this match. And that was a good shot. He's been aiming to do that, well, since he batted in the first innings. And he lofted him away over deep square leg.
Amazingly, that's Australia's first 6 of this Test match.
Good Lord, compared to England's.
Well, they hit 10 in the first innings and 6 in the second.
16-1.
16-1 it is at the moment.
152 for 7. As far as Warne is concerned, how many was he hit for in the match? Bill, here's Giles bowling to him again. He's going for another big hit, and he's done it again. Another 6, not quite as big as the first one, that's gone sailing over Hoggard's head, and that's 16-2. We've got another new way of scoring in this mad Test match that we've been enjoying here over the last 3 days. And Warne's going down fighting. Hoggard finds the ball. It's there amongst the motor mops that happily have been redundant in this Test match. But, well, it's a good shot again. It was a lofted sweep. He has to get it right. The Hoggard's out there. This one just sailed over his head. And away there into the ironmongery of the groundsman's here. And for 6 more, 158 for 7. So he's pulling it back as far as he's concerned. In comes Giles. Is this going to be a hat-trick of 6s? No, it's not. That's pushed away into the ground and fielded by Strauss.
In personal terms, it's 6-2. He went for 4 in the first innings and 2 in the second.
So it's 8, in fact. So he's 8-2, is he?
It was 4 and 2.
Oh, sorry, 6-2. Okay.
He was hit for 6 sixes. He's hit 2 now.
Okay. There's a man going out to deep mid-wicket. Will he go for another big hit? Harmison, I can see, loosening up very obviously there at deep mid-on. Come on, Gilo, someone shouts. And in he comes, and he bowls to Warne, and that's turned away into the leg side, bat and pad there. Just avoiding Bell. Well, that was exciting, and it's just been that sort of match, hasn't it? You'd expect a bit of prodding around and defending here by the Australians with the overs ticking away, and you get 2 6s in 2 balls.
They're 2 clean strikes, those 2, world away from the slog, horrible slog in the first innings. I think, though, if it's all the same to Shane Warne, we'll see out the day with the heavy artillery, don't you? I think we'll trundle up the big guns.
I think so. I think he's had he may have seen his last of Ashley, isn't he? But if they can get it down, Australia, they've got 4 overs left, get it down to 110 to win tomorrow with 3 wickets left. They won't have written it off.
Absolutely they won't.
Especially while Clark is still there, he's on 27. 124 more required by Australia. England need these 3 wickets. And 4 overs remain to be bowled tonight. They could get, possibly, another one in. I don't know, it depends who bowls the other end, I guess. In goes Flintoff. And he bowls, and that's tipped away to mid-on. I must check that regulation, actually, Bill, because I've never been in the situation where the 8 overs may be bowled within the half hour. Are we still in
well, it's they have half an hour, but if they haven't bowled the 8 overs by then, they go on.
But if they have bowled the 8 overs within that half hour, they bowl another one, do they?
Well, the half hour takes precedence, yeah.
Okie dokie. I don't think I've ever been in that situation before. 158 for 7. It probably won't happen today, but 4 overs remain to be bowled after this one. It's Flintoff running in and bowling to Clark. Is that Yorker again, speared in? Clark meets it with a dead bat at the very bottom of it, mind you, which Clark now looks at. But it was well played. And Clark, fair-haired, with his helmet on, of course, wanders round the crease there. He's played very well so far. We're seeing a replay of a rather hapless Gillespie being dispatched, LBW.
He's had a good game on Diz, hasn't he?
Yes. 158 for 7. In goes Flintoff, a double whirl of the arms this time. That's driven away. Bell takes it, but it's not a catch. Although a roar there from about 10,000 people in Edgbaston suggested that it might have been. Look at them all up on their feet. It's terrific to see such enthusiasm amongst all the supporters here. But that was hit firmly into the ground. It was a spectator catch. I mean, Bell made it look very acrobatic there, rolling over and over as he clutched the ball to his chest. 158 for 7. Clark on 27. Waits again for Flintoff. In he goes and bowls a full toss down the leg side. He's trying to bowl this full length of the reverse swing. A bit of banter there between Clark and the umpire. Now, I think Clark is saying to Billy Bowden, hang on a minute, what are all these low full tosses coming my way?
Well, nothing wrong with a low full toss. It was a shin high full toss, that was.
Well, Flintoff, I think,
It's not waist high, is it?
told him exactly what he thought of him as he wandered back to his mark there. No, that was below knee high. It's not exactly the Brett Lee to Marcus Trescothic decapitator. 158 for 7. In goes Flintoff, rushing in, he bowls, and Clark flicks that away to mid-wicket. Giles is after it, it's a no ball as well, so he'll add 1 to whatever they run here. They'll probably get 3 as Giles gathers the ball. No, they only got 2, which suggests to me that R. Shane isn't too keen to get down there. Because that was 3 in anybody's language, especially with Ashley after it, frankly.
He had to track it, didn't he, Ashley?
Well, he did. I don't think Warren wants to get down there then.
Well, he might find Harmy coming at him from the other end.
161 for 7. Flintoff's figures 3 for 28. He's got 1 ball left in this over. The field coming in. They're going to try and keep Warren down on this end now. 2 to go, is it, Bill? Oh, it's a no ball, fine. So they're going to try and keep him down that end. That's actually up at this end, non-striker. In goes Flintoff. He bowls a short ball, which Clark just withdraws the bat from. Through it goes. Oh, there is a bit of chat going on out there. Flintoff's got plenty to say. And it's continuing. It is continuing. Clark is walking up the pitch, and these two are having a go at each other. Flintoff smiling as he walked back. The umpires haven't got involved. A lot of chatter going on out there. Flintoff, of course, looked very, very dismissive of the whole thing. And now, well, Shane Warne's going down. He's having a chat with Clark.
Warney said, don't get involved in this sledging, Lark. No, don't get involved in that.
Follow my example. In goes Flintoff. The last ball of the over is down the leg side. It's going for 4 byes. Well, it keeps Warne down at this end. He'll be on strike. Well, it was a little bit scrappy again. Jones couldn't stop it, and still the chat goes on. Look at Michael Clark. He's got his helmet off. He's chatting away. Flintoff's having a go. Matthew Hoggard's wrapping an arm round Flintoff. Well, this is rather unseemly, and Billy Bowden's now moved in there to sort it out. And Michael Clark is telling the umpires exactly what he thinks about the situation. And still it goes on. Well,
waist high seems to be the operative word, or words, and well, he's got a very strange waistline. If they're going below the roll of his pad, those, weren't they not?
Well, I thought so,
saw
yes.
it anyway, and they were certainly loopy.
But there have been 3 or 4 balls that have not pitched.
They're just badly directed, though.
Yeah. Now, we're told there's an ambulance outside the player's entrance that's waiting to take Flintoff to hospital for precautionary x-rays. He's on his shoulder, but he damaged. Looks all right to me. but it may be there for the boxing match that's about to take place as the players walk off. Because they'll be calling out the seconds in a minute.
A precautionary extra. As a precaution against what? I've never come to terms with this.
No, not I. It looks all right to me at the moment, though. I suspect he could still deliver a right hook or a left hook if he had to. He won't come to that, but it shows just how high the feelings are running out there in the middle. 165 for 7. I haven't seen anything like that for a while, actually. Sort of
That was good stuff, wasn't it?
A prolonged.
Well, we had that in the one day here, of course, didn't we, with Matty Hayden and.
That's true.
With Collier, well, there wasn't hardly a player on the field who didn't get involved in that one, was there? They all had their tuppence worth.
Harmison is on, and he's got Warne where he wants him, and up he comes, and he bowls to him. It's short, a real loosener that, and Warne was through a speculative pull shot far too early. In fact, he changed his mind in the end. 3 overs remain to be bowled after this one.
He allowed him the side of his stumps there.
What they really want to hear is Harmison loose and just to roar in. He's got 11 balls to bowl, and what Vaughan are wanting would be everything up round about Warne's throat. They've got a deep third man, but he's positioned 15 yards inside the boundary. He's there for the uppercut that Warne plays. In comes Harmison, and he bowls to Warne. It is short, he fends it off. Clark thinks about a single. Warne sends him back. Giles fields, and it's 165 for 7. Still lots of blue sky around, the sun shining, as another wonderful day's Test cricket comes towards its close. 165 for 7. Australia need 117 more runs to win. They still have 3 wickets. And up comes Harmison. He's there, he bowls, and that's driven straight back, and Harmison hurls the ball at the stumps. He was actually aiming for the stumps this time. We've had a few instances where the batsman, I think, was the target rather than the stumps. But I wonder if that was close to running him out or not, because Warne did leave his crease for a moment. The body language there from Harmison, who's quite a long way away, suggested that had that throw hit, Warne could have been run out. But, a replay might show us what's going on, and I think he probably was. He would have gone.
He was miles out of his crease.
He made no effort to get back. It wasn't that far away either, the throw. And he just stood there, Shane. It's an extraordinary performance, really. It'd have been his second remarkable dismissal of the match. 165 for 7. Listen to the crowd. In comes Harmison. He bowls to Warne down the leg side. That's brushed something and gone for 4. Leg byes. And they all count as far as Australia are concerned. There's now 113 more that they need to win this match. 169 for 7. And well, there has been some excitable bowling today. There's been a lot of leg side bowling from England that Geraint Jones hasn't been able to get near. We've had 2 lots of 4 byes. In comes Harmison, and he bowls to Warne, a snorting bouncer, which he avoids, jerking his head out of the way. Needs to be a little bit straighter, really, more Midland leg to worry Warne, and he's practicing the shot that he would play to it too, that little glide off the face of the bat. If you've got long memories, the sort of stroke that Tony Greig used to play. And in fact, there's no one at fine third man. The position that Strauss has taken is quite square. Here's the last ball of the over. In comes Harmison, and he bowls to Warne. He gets right across in front of his stumps, and Jones doesn't take that clean again. It's badly directed down the leg side. It's a maiden over, but there were those leg byes from it. And 2 overs now remain to be bowled on this third day. 169 for 7. Australia's target is 282. And they're just chipping away here quietly. The last wicket fell at 137. So these two have added 32. Almost without people noticing. Now, Billy Bowden's come down and had a word with Flintoff. Hoggard's there saying ignore everything he says, Freddie, I think. Get in there.
Give him some more of the same. He's giving him low full tosses. A batsman who gets low full tosses on leg stump, you'd think he'd say thanks very much, wouldn't he?
Well, you would have thought so, yes. But it does illustrate how revved up Clark is, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there's a wide slip and a short mid-wicket as Flintoff resumes his battle with Michael Clark. In he goes, racing, and he bowls a bouncer, and Clark ducks underneath it, watching it fly over his shoulder. Flintoff follows through, glares at him, and no words are spoken this time. There's plenty of pitch prodding. Warren's having a go as well, coming down and tapping away. And Flintoff exchanges a word or two with umpire Bowden and walks back to his mark again. It seems strange that he's going for this X-ray, doesn't it? I mean, he's pounding in here and bowling as if life depended on it. He has had a pain-killing injection. In he goes and bowls to Clark. It's outside the off stump and there's no stroke offered by the right-hander. It's taken there by wicketkeeper Jones. And looking around, well, I can see half a dozen empty seats at the Hollies stand. Oh, just a handful here and there, but you wouldn't want to leave now. You've been watching this. I just remember that last over of the day at Sydney when Shane Warne, Steve Waugh scored his 100 off the last ball. People were actually getting up and leaving during that over.
Yeah.
Staggering. 169 for 7. Clark is on strike. Flintoff bowls to him. He shuffles into line, pushes up to mid-off, and he calls for 1. Vaughan throws at the stumps. Warne is in his ground. Now, Flintoff, loose, revved up, and aggressive. Might be rather more of a test for Warne than a rather stiff-looking Harmison at the other end. And Clark's having a word with him there. He's a big chewing gum man as well, is Clark. And he was yelling some encouragement there to Warne. There are, is it 3 to go, Bill?
3.
There are 3 to go. Now, with 2 slips, and Giles is a fine gully. It's a backward short leg. There's no one down at third man in that sort of catching position that we saw in Harmison's over. In goes Flintoff. He bowls to Warne. It hits him on the thigh pad and runs away for Bell to pick up there at backward short leg. And there's no run. 170 for 7. 2 balls remain in this over, and then there's 1 over to go. Again, Hoggard with his sun hat pulled low over his eyes.
140 for 7.
Gives Flintoff some encouragement. Bill's muttering something. It was 140 for 7 when the extra overs were taken. So it's, I have to say, it's been to Australia's gain this last half hour. In goes Flintoff and bowls, and that's driven for 4. A lovely stroke by Shane Warne. Just a reminder of what he's capable of producing tomorrow morning. It was a fullish length ball. It was wide enough of the off stump for a man who plays very much from leg stump to drive away through the covers. He timed it very well indeed. And this game is not over. 174 for 7. Warne has 20. 1 ball in this over remains. The field dropped back a little. They're encouraging Warne to take a single if he wants it. In goes Flintoff. He bowls to him. He drives, and there's a good stop from Flintoff, diving full length to prevent a run. And that ends an excellent day's work for Andrew Flintoff. He has an injured shoulder and everyone's on their feet. Well, that's wonderful. He has produced that sort of performance here today. First with the bat, some wonderful blows. And of course he dominated that stand of 51 that might have made the difference in this game. And then thrown the ball for the first time to bowl the 13th over. There we go, he's doffing his cap incidentally. He took 2 wickets in that over. And he's come back to take another. And it's just been a typical Flintoff effort.
Just about sums
Absolutely
it up
committed.
that bit at the end there, doesn't it?
Lying on his tummy
Total
and
commitment.
dust everywhere. Anything to prevent 1 run. So this is the start of the last over. And it'll be bowled by Harmison. Flintoff breathing heavily there at second slip. Crouches now as Harmison comes in and he bowls to Clark, and he feels outside the off stump. Oh my word. An anxious jerk of the head there by Clark suggested just for a moment that he might have got a little tickle to that. But he didn't. 5 balls remain. And Harmison walks back to his mark. People are leaving now. They reckon, well, if Flintoff isn't going to do it, then no one will today. And the lucky ones will come back tomorrow. Harmison steams in and bowls to Clark. He's going to be caught in. No, he's not. It just stops front of Giles there in the gully. It's Strauss, in fact. Well, it was a nasty ball, rearing for the throat. Clark didn't play it very well. And the ball was up in the air for a while. as it landed a couple of yards in front of Andrew Strauss as he came in dashing up to try and make the catch.
Just took enough weight off the ball there, didn't he? Just dropped his hands enough. Loose grip.
4 remain, 174 for 7. Harmison really steaming in now, bowls to Clark outside the off stump. A puff of dust there as the ball landed. Clark doesn't play a stroke. More fiddling of the field from Vaughan, who's been extremely proactive today. He's moved them here, there and everywhere. And he's just been thinking constantly. A good day in the field. A bit of a shocker with the bat. Cleaned up by Lee, second ball for 1. But that's in the memory at the moment. What's going on? Vaughan there is holding up the action by drawing Clark's attention to the man at deep point. There's also a deep square leg. And how many balls remain, Bill? 2 to go? 3 to go. In comes Harmison, and he bowls to Clark, another nasty short one. Oh, that was a brute. And Clark played it very well indeed. It was also a no ball, so well, that's perhaps to England's advantage, and that Harmison now looks a different man for the one who looked rather stiff as he bowled his first over. He's rushing in now. That was a nasty one. It was fended off, wrapped the glove, and Clark did very well to keep that down. Australia need 107. England need 3 wickets, and 3 balls remain to be bowled in this third day. In comes Harmison, and he bowls a slower ball. He's bowled him! What an amazing delivery! That is absolutely stunning! Clark has been bowled by a loopy slower ball. He was softened up by 3 balls of searing pace. He fended 2 off his nose, and then in the most extraordinary bluff, Harmison bowled a ball, well, slower than Ashley Giles, I reckon. It completely deceived Clark. It just about knocked the bails off. It was an extraordinary piece of bowling. And that really does put the game back England's way again. 174 for 8. It was a very good innings from Clark. But it's come to an end. And that is one of the most extraordinary pieces of bowling I think I've seen. And the crowd all on their feet to applaud England. Look at them there in the Hollies stand. Thousands of them, clapping with their hands above their heads all round the ground. Even the Aussies down there in their gold shirts, Merv Hughes' mob, they're on their feet. It's been an amazing day's cricket. And one that has very nearly levelled this series. The Australians are back tomorrow. They've got 107 more runs that they want to get. But that wicket really does make a difference.
Wow, that was an astounding piece of bowling. That's bowling of the very highest class, isn't it? Absolutely steamed in, and then a deliberate slower ball. It's got to be put in the right place. It's got to be full. It's got to be the Yorker. Absolutely pinpoint, spot on. Michael Clark deceived totally.
I don't think I've seen anything quite like that. The softening up there of 3 brutes that he bowled before that.
It's wonderful.
And then that slower ball completely deceived Clark. He would have been waiting for something round his throat probably, or maybe a toe-crushing Yorker at 90 miles an hour. What he got was something that was beautifully flighted. A spinner would have been proud of that.